Welcome to the live coverage of the Alan Murray Cup final here, the LHK Insurance Alan Murray Cup final. We've got a wonderful setting at Pembroke Cricket Club. Merrion have won the toss after a very quick turnaround, and they've decided to bat first. Merrion captain Dom Joyce, joined for the first time today in the commentary box to my right by Ireland international, Ireland Test match cricketer Andy Balbirnie. Andy, welcome.
Thank you, Lenny. Good to be back with you.
How are you, mate?
Yeah, good. Excited to be here. Two of the best teams, I'd say, in the province playing here head to head in all competitions, both of them Irish Cup League and now the Alan Murray Cup final.
We're going to be straight into the action. It's going to be fast and heavy, this action here at Pembroke Cricket Club today. And Clontarf opening the bowling with Shariful Islam, commonly known as Ropu round Leinster cricket, isn't he? A little bit easier, that.
Yeah, always easier. Good nickname, stuck with him, I think, since he's arrived. Interesting to see Merrion have changed their batting order slightly from the semi-final. Tyrone Kane was in good form yesterday down in Oak Hill with the Wolves, so if he gets going, he can hit a clean ball. 2 men out in the boundary, third man and deep square leg, no catches, no slip at all. Ropu into the attack. He's
bowling from the Sandymount end here. As Clontarf have the ball in hand to lead off the final day. The sunshine is coming in, the crowd's filling up, the famous Pembroke wall is nearly full now, and we've got not only a nice occasion but a nice crowd to boot, and a few people walking across in front of us with some barbecue food as well. Yeah,
we've had some great weekends here at Pembroke. I'm obviously biased when I say I think it's one of the nicer grounds to play in, but on days like this when the sun's out and you get a good crowd and you get the smell of barbecue and two good teams going at it, there's a great place to be.
Ropu in. Wow, what a shot that is. Looks for the scoop. That gets over, fine leg. Wonderful innovation from the Merrion pro.
Yeah, Ropu won't be too disappointed with that. I think he's hit a Yorker fairly well there, and that's what he tries to do. He angles it in and bowls stump to stump, but with that fine leg man up, all you have to do is get anything on it, and he's got it really well, and it's gone over fine leg for the first boundary of this final.
Punish Meta got a bit caught in the opening match today for Merrion. He got 12 off 20 balls and he struggled a bit against YMCA, so it's interesting to see that they've elevated him up the order to open the batting, and you can see what his intent is going to be for the day today.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised if the captain said to him just go out and play your shots. He probably got a bit bogged down in that middle, and maybe they see this as a better fit for him opening the batting. It's the best time to bat as a batsman with only 2 men out of the circle and a fresh new ball. So he started well here, 5 off the first few balls, and Ropu under the pump here.
Just paddled straight off stump, as you said. It wasn't a bad delivery, but great innovation from Merrion's Indian professional Punish Meta to get that away for 4 and get this Merrion innings up and going. Fuller this time, smashed away, poor delivery, 1 bounce 4. Poor piece of bowling, that wonderful shot.
Yeah, he could have put that anywhere in the ground. He's put it over mid-wicket, 1 bounce 4. Good bit of fielding out by the covers there, one-handed pickup, but not to start Ropu or Clontarf, and particularly the captain Joe Morrissey would have wanted.
That bit of fielding was by a member of the crowd though, not by one of the fielders.
Of course.
And Ropu, as Andy said just moments ago, Irish international Andy Balbirnie to my right here. He's under the pump, 9 for none, just 4 balls gone. Full, just dab down behind point. That's going to be a single. Andy, you're captain of the Wolves yesterday. Bangladesh, they're a good side, it looks like.
Yeah, they are. I don't think we weren't great in the first 10 overs of each innings with the ball in hand, and then once we got going with the bat, which was disappointing because we did a lot of good things, particularly in the middle overs with both bat and ball, but we were creating chances, didn't manage to take the chances.
Ropu in. Ooh, that one's just kept a bit low. Going to be a dot to close out his over. Carry on.
But the beauty of it is we get to go again tomorrow, and it's a great tour to have. I was fortunate to go to Bangladesh last year, and it's something that I've kind of harped on about for the year, that this is something that needs to happen. We need to be playing these teams more regularly. It was great to see someone like JJ Garth come in and bowl his 10 overs for 36 runs yesterday, only a 17-year-old still in school. So for players like that, it'll give them great confidence, and we've got a lot of cricket to play against them, so hopefully we can get a couple of results.
And speaking of bowlers who were impressive yesterday, David Delaney is into the attack for Clontarf from the Sydney Parade end, bowled with great pace in the first semi-final, outstanding 4-over spell. How good was he yesterday as well? I know he went wicketless, but it looked to be a very impressive 9 overs he bowled.
Yeah, he bowled very well, particularly coming into the attack when we were on the back foot and they got off to a bit of a flyer. He bowled with brilliant control and really threatened the batsman. Bowled with great pace, which we know he can do, but I was probably more impressed with the control. He bowled a couple of overs in the last 10 as well, which was very good for him, man me. And yeah, he's definitely an exciting prospect, and the more games he can play at that level, the more confident he'll get, and he'll definitely, he's got a slip in already, and he'll run in here and bowl with great pace, but in T20 cricket that can sometimes go against the bowler.
And he's got the ball in hand. He's going to come in and bowl that great pace, that short. Just sort of hung the bat out at that Punish Mehta off the top edge. It's run down to third man, just going to be the single. What sort of pace do you think he's getting up to when he's really firing?
I'd like to think 83, 84. He's definitely the quickest in the province. So I've not seen much from the north or the northwest, but he's definitely promising. And the spelly bowl yesterday outside of the first 10 hours was impressive, and hopefully there's many more spells like that to come.
Delaney in full, right in the block hole. Misfield from captain Joe Morrissey at cover. He looks disgusted with himself.
He looks at the ground as well. It just went straight through his legs. Not a great bit of feeling by the captain. I think if he had been the bowler and someone had done that to him, we may have heard a few explicits. But he started well here. Delaney's bowled a good Yorker there to Tyrone Kane. Doesn't want to give him any room, but a good start from the young man. And
the interesting change in this match is that Joe Morrissey is not opening the bowling, so he's decided to go with Shariful Islam and then David Delaney. Clipped off his hip. That's going to run away for 4 very quickly down towards the Merrion team 10th there. Lovely shot. Yeah, the outfield is so quick here. You just have to get a little tickle on it. He's barely done anything there except put his bat out, and it's just raced away. No one's in the game there in the field, and getting another boundary here. Merrion just starting to motor a bit here. They got a boundary from each of the first 2 overs. Punish looking dangerous. That was indeed Mehta clipping that off his hip for 4. Very controlled shot, and as Andy said, with the extra pace on the ball, if you can get any bat on it, it's going to run away to the boundary all the quicker. Full this time from Delaney, left outside the off stump, through to the keeper Forrest. Oak Hill, the venue for the game yesterday, and it's another 50 over clash tomorrow. How good a venue is that down in Wicklow? It's an interesting venue because that rained off game we had, it was probably the most miserable place you could have been. The wind was tearing us down. The marquees, they were nearly taken off going down to Wexford, but on a sunny day like yesterday it was beautiful, and there was a good crowd down, and there's nowhere better. It's strange. Again left outside the off stump. Interesting from Mehta. He thinks probably happy to have the boundary already. Were you talking to any of the Bangladesh team? What do they think of the venue? They love it. I've spoke to their coach Simon Helmut quite a bit. We're staying in Druids Glen, so there's not much you can complain about. We're in the Garden of Ireland, and certainly the Bangladeshis seem to be enjoying themselves, and the grass nets have been good up there in Oak Hill, and the facilities are top class. So it's been a really good start to the series, and a relatively competitive game, not as competitive as we would have liked. Squared up Mehta, well bowled by Delaney. That's just going to be a dot. 3 dot balls to finish that over from Delaney. You'll obviously be looking to reverse the result tomorrow and square the series, make it 1-1. Yeah, I spoke to the guys after the game yesterday, and we're not far off as a team compared to them. I think it's just that getting over the rot with them. We didn't win a game in Bangladesh, and I think if we can just get over the line, it'll give the guys a lot of confidence to go into hopefully winning a series. But at the moment we're maybe playing just a bit of apprehensive cricket, and I think once we get that result, hopefully over the next week or 2, I think there might be a few more results like it. Yeah, that's one of the nice things about these tours, sharing the hotels, getting to chat to the opposition team and coaches. Short from Islam, pulled away by Kane. That looks like it's probably just come off the glove, but it's going to run away for 4 runs. Yeah, and the Merrion batsmen haven't had to do anything for the boundaries. Clontarf haven't bowled well here. We've seen full tosses, we've seen balls go down the leg side, so the Merrion batsmen here haven't really tried anything, haven't had to try anything. They're getting the bad balls that they want in this first 6, and Clontarf just need to be a bit more smart and a bit more accurate. We've seen missed fields, we've seen full tosses. They just need to tie it up a bit and build some more dots. Merrion, of course, arguably having the benefit of playing back-to-back games as opposed to Clontarf, who won the first semi-final this morning, and they had to wait around. You saw them warming up quite early to make sure they were ready to go. Yeah, it's tricky. I've played in 2 finals days, one of them last year, and I think both of them we've played the first game, and fortunately we got to the final in both of them. It's tricky. Yeah, I've never done the back-to-back. I think for Leinster this year, we played in the evening game, so I'm definitely not one to I'm not a fan of waiting around to play a game. I think Merrion will be fresh. They'll be
they'll be loose, whereas Clontarf have sat around, and that can sometimes
play against them.
Shot.
Cut away powerfully, no cover sweeper. That's going to be 4 more for Meta. Glorious shot.
Yeah, this role seems to suit Meta a lot more. He's playing with a lot more freedom than he did in that semi-final. He got himself bogged down, didn't hit a boundary, and he's hitting boundaries with ease now. And Ropu needs to do a bit of thinking, whether he changes his field, maybe brings third man up and puts another man out in the offside. I don't think we've seen a ball go down to third man yet, so that might be an option that Morrissey should think about, but certainly a strong start from Meta here. He's looking good.
No change in the field so far, so pressure on the bowlers here. The ball starting to fly around. Shorter this time, into the pitch. It's just worked into the covers, and they'll scamper through for 1 with the ball going in between Morrissey and Gallagher. Ropu's a guy who started was at the final last year of the same competition against you. How good a bowler can he be at the death in particular?
Yeah, he's a good cricketer. He's been playing cricket for Clontarf for a long time. I wouldn't know the exact time, but he's just you know what you're getting with him. He'll bowl stump to stump, and he really works hard in his game by all accounts, and he's a great person to have in a team with a couple of young players in it.
Fuller this time. No run there. Straight to David Delaney at short mid-wicket in the ring. How are you guys going in the Wolves? You're all in camp together. It's a long series of games, isn't it? How many games are you playing against Bangladesh?
We have another 3 one-day matches, and then there's a T20 squad being named this week, I think. There's about 14 or 15 lads in and around the squad, and we're kind of trying things, and obviously there's guys that need to get game time potentially ahead of an Afghan series.
Islam in again. He just pulled that length back interestingly. Direct hit given. Sensational work from Robert Forrest behind the sticks, and that's out.
Hesitant. Tyrone Kane was hesitant. There probably wasn't a run there. He wanted to give himself room to slash it through the offside, but that is the wicket that Clontarf needed to maybe ignite their innings here, because they've been a bit slack in this first 3 overs. But it's funny how he could just take a runner to change the momentum here, and Tyrone Kane goes for 7.
It was wonderful work from Robert Forrest. He hit the solitary leg stump clean, and he dived in. Big celebrations from Bill Coughlin and Robert Forrest, and I think Clontarf realised just how important that wicket was to arrest the momentum that Merrion were gaining.
And Kane's not happy. He's nodding his head as he walks off here, and he hasn't scored any runs today, but he's been in great form for both Merrion and the Ireland Wolves, and he's a dangerous batsman, but he hasn't got going today on what looks like a pretty flat pitch. A left-hand, right-hand combination now as Cardi comes to the wicket. Always difficult for a bowler, but yeah, something that Clontarf needed to ignite their final here, and end of the 3rd over, Merrion 26 for 1. But yeah, no, it's great to be able to have this Wolves series leading into an Afghan series, so guys that will be playing those Afghan games can play against top class opposition and top class spin, which is what we're going to be up against in August against probably 2 of the better spinners going around the game.
And that's what are Bangladesh A bringing that obviously renowned at the senior level for their spin bowlers?
Absolutely. The Bangladesh coaches told me how they want this tour to be kind of testing their seamers and bowling in English-like conditions.
Delaney in now with that last ball being the last one of the last over, the first wicket to fall. So it's 26 for 1 after 3 overs. Delaney continuing to impress here. You happy with David coming to play for his club here and back into the Wolves tomorrow? Good to see.
Yeah, I mean, Graham Ford we spoke about it, and Graham Ford realises how important club cricket is to Irish cricket. So he wasn't hesitant at all. He wanted the guys going back and playing this. It means that the standard of the cricket is better, so therefore it's the best thing for the game.
Delaney in as the dart goes by, clipped off his legs. There's no one deep on the leg side. That's going to run right quickly for 4. High quality shot from Punish Mehta.
Yeah, just drifted onto his pads, and we've seen David do that a couple of times now, and he's got punished, and Mehta's looking really good here. He didn't really hit that. He just got his head into the ball and clipped it beautifully past Bill Coughlin mid wicket, and he's not letting that run out affect him. He's got that early boundary since the last wicket, and he moves into the 20s. 23 not out, and Merrion move on to 30. Positive start from Mehta.
And yeah, they say a week is a long time in cricket, but in this case a day is a long time in cricket. 12 off 20 balls earlier on, but right now Punish Mehta, the overseas professional for Merrion, is absolutely flying for his team. And he's on to 23 off just 13 balls. Change of the field. Bill Coughlin's going to go out to that boundary on the wall side here in Pembroke that he patrolled all day earlier. Deep cover coming in, so the two fielders outside the circle now are a deep mid-wicket and a deep third man. Slower ball from Delaney. Straight to point, no run there. Looks like a leg cutter.
Yeah, he's worked hard with, like most of the fast bowlers, with the bowling coach Rob Castle and slower balls. I heard Rob speak earlier in the coverage about how since India have come over and bowled these knuckleballs and all these different variations to keep the batters guessing, and he's trying to instill that to our bowlers as quick as possible and to learn as quick as possible. And it's great to see David trying these things in these games, and that's what he wants.
Short work down to third man, all the way off the face of the bat. Well fielded, just going to be one. Jack Carty, a cricketer you've seen much of this year at all?
No. I haven't seen him.
Haven't seen him yet
play at all, but I've heard good things. I've spoken to 40 and Rob about him. He seems to be doing well in the leagues, but this is my first time seeing him, and hopefully he produces the goods, and Merrion will certainly need him to.
We saw him impress with the ball earlier from Merrion, and tall, young, and originally of Australian background, but obviously with Irish roots as well. I think he's a nephew of Pat Carty, isn't he, of Merrion Cricket Club. And great to have him over here. He's having a good season for Merrion, and he's going to square up to Delaney now. Shorter from Delaney. Again, a good pace, but just going to be a single there, worked off his hip.
Yeah, it was a high-risk ball there. He's dropped it short with his fine leg up, and it doesn't take much for you to just be able to clip it over fine leg there, but gets away with it, just a single, but Carty's off the mark straight away, and as a batsman that's what you want. You want to get off the mark as soon as possible, particularly in T20 cricket. If you can do it first ball, great. So Jack Carty gets his final innings underway.
Yeah, we are bringing you the live coverage of the LHK Insurance Alan Murray Cup finals day here. It's the T20 finals day. Special day for Irish cricket here with a full house at Pembroke Cricket Club. Radar just a bit wide, that's going to be signalled wide. Rightly so, short and wide. How was his radar down in Oak Hill, Andy? You were saying he not only bowled with good pace but great control.
Yeah, no, he didn't bowl many wides at all. We bowled a lot of wides as a team, but Davey didn't seem to, from memory, didn't seem to bowl too many wides. Yeah, it's tricky with a bowler like that. You want him to just run in and bowl as quick as he can, but if he can get the control that he got yesterday, he's double the threat.
That is the over. He's going to finish out with the dot. Scott Richardson happy with that. Umpire Scott Richardson. There are two standing umpires in the final here, Steve Wood and Scott Richardson. So
Steve would be a happy man. Sunderland got their campaign to a winning start. I was speaking to him yesterday, him and Chris Siddle, the team manager.
You're not actually telling me that the football season is back.
The football season is back. Chris
It's
Siddle, our
August.
manager, training today, was pulling his hair out as they conceded an early penalty. But yes, the football season has started.
That is always a tragedy, especially to hear that so early in August. But without doubt, it is cricket season here in Ireland. And speaking of cricket across the pond, did you catch any of the end of that Test match? We could be in for a really special series this summer.
I caught that, and I caught last night's T20 game with Sterlo going berserk in a losing cause at the Oval. But yeah, it was certainly a tremendous game of cricket and brilliant advert for it. You just have to feel sorry for the folk that bought their 5th-day ticket for Edgbaston tomorrow. But yeah, it had everything. I think Kohli came to the party probably for the first time in England. Someone like Sam Curran, 20 years of age, got his man of the match and probably changed the game with the bat in that second innings. And yeah, it was brilliant to watch, and it's hopefully will be part of those sort of games in the future.
Captain Joe Morrissey brings himself into the attack after 2 overs from Islam at the Sandymount end. Were you amazed to see Kohli not get man of the match, given the 2 innings he played?
Yeah, but I've always said in whatever sport it is, I think the man of the match should go to the winning team. I've always felt like that, and I believe that.
Yeah, no, that's fair. It was a special performance from England. They just threw for the quick single. Good thinking by Carty. The series has already kind of given us some comparisons to 2005 and that majestic summer, the Ashes series that really captured the imagination of the public. Do you think that this series could maybe live up to that billing from 13 years ago?
Yeah, I hope so. It's a 4-match series, which you don't really see too often. 5-match series and 4-match series. So yeah, absolutely. There's some of the biggest names in world cricket playing over the next few weeks, and more performances from Kohli like that, and if Joe Root can stand up and be counted for, it's going to be a thrilling series. There's some superstars in both teams, and from what we saw in the one-day series and T20 series, it promises to be a really good test match series. A
real cracker, no doubt, across the water. We've got a cracker here at Pembroke Cricket Club in Dublin. You're here joining us live for the LHK Insurance Alan Murray Cup final, and it's Clontarf against Merrion, arguably the two form sides of the domestic campaign so far this season, alongside probably Warrenstown from the NCU. But really, Merrion and Clontarf, you'd have to say, probably the two standout sides in Leinster at the moment.
Yeah, both going for the league, both in the Cup, the Leinster Cup. I think Clontarf beat us last week in the semi-final, and Merrion have a refix, and obviously competing here for the T20 title.
Morrissey in, hitting that good length. Just going to be a single. Work down from Meta. Cup final, you a fan of having runs on the board and trying to defend them?
Yeah, absolutely. If you can get a competitive total or more, it puts the batters under serious pressure in the second innings, particularly if it's been in a final, you're throwing yourself around, your body's tired, and then your mind gets tired. So I think if Merrion can post, I heard Kevin say 160, 170, I think they'll be favourites in this game.
Yeah, another good wicket here. That's going to be 4 all the way. Hits straight down towards our commentary position, hits the advertising boards in front of us, and that was just an easy clip off the legs, wasn't it, for 4?
Yeah, didn't have to do much there. Joe Morrissey's an accurate bowler, but he's not a fast bowler, so all Carty had to do was clip it through mid-wicket, and clipped it over mid-wicket, couple of bounces, races for 4.
Just having some spectators walking in front of us here. That's going to be 4 more. Clipped over point this time by the left-handed Carty. And great to see not only a big crowd in, but plenty of support for both sides. Merrion 43 for 1 now at the end of the 5th over. Just that bit of width offered by Joe Morrissey on that occasion, Andy, wasn't there?
Yeah, just threw his hands at it, and he got the elevation over point, and it raced away out in the minefield there of Pembroke. And definitely the power play going for Merrion at the moment. They got the breakthrough Clontarf, but Jack Carty's come out with some intent, and he's hit a couple of boundaries, and he's looking comfortable at the crease as well as Meta, as we see first bit of spin from the top end as Obus Pienaar comes in with his left arm tweakers.
Yeah, spin for the first time in this final today, and spin's proved really effective so far on the T20 finals day. We saw Obus Pienaar earlier bowl his 4 overs, and he went for just 10 runs. It was a wonderful spell of left arm orthodox spin, and you'd have to think if he can do something like that, he's going to be pretty happy with his spell. Yeah,
and he gets good bounce. He's obviously a tall man, and not a huge turn of the ball, but gets that bit of bounce that can cause the batsman a bit of grief. He'll be looking to start well here.
Obus Pienaar from South Africa. He's got this quicker ball, which he starts with. Hit down towards point, but misfielded, so they're going to scamper through for 1. Kevin O'Brien was on commentary with me earlier, and he referred to that quicker ball as quicker than he could physically bowl. It is an extravagant difference in pace, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, and can sometimes catch you off guard. Naturally, left-arm spinner is not going to bowl it that quickly, but in T20 cricket, there's so many variations now that's just part of the game, and the more you can watch the ball as closely as possible, you can really see him throwing his body into that, and probably got away with that one. It was a bit short and a bit wide, but bit of a misfield from point there, gets a single.
Pienaar changing his field, obviously, for the left-handed Carty. Just 1 final over the power play. The 2 men in the deep are deep mid-wicket and deep long on. Everyone else, of course, has to be in the circle with the power play fielding restrictions. Hit away behind point. That's a glorious shot from Carty. That's going to run away for 4. Superb batting, Andy.
Yeah, you can almost play him as a seamer when he's bowling this pace, and with that width on offer, all he has to do is get a bat and it races way down to this backward point region. Pienaar not starting too well here. He's bowled a couple of short balls and a couple of freebies here, and Carty's playing with real intent here. He's 14 in no time.
Obus Pienaar bowled his 4 overs for just 10 runs earlier. He's already under pressure here, though. Clipped off his hip. Well fielded by Declan Gallagher. That's just going to be 1. And this right-hand, left-hand combination is starting to cause some problems, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's brilliant to have in a top order. It's a real tough thing for a bowler to get used to, particularly with a new ball and a spinner. But Pienaar, you can see Meta eyeing up this leg side, and Pienaar needs to pull this over back.
Mehta's just going to work that down in front of point for a single. The gap there between point and cover, with deep extra cover out on the far side of the ground here, the railway side of the ground. That's the 50 up. And 50 for 1 in the 6th over. Final over the power play. Quicker. Lucky mix up between the batters, and that's going to be run out. Pienaar delighted with that. There was never a run there. Complete chaos in the middle.
Yeah, not great cricket. A short and wide ball should have been put to the boundary. Cardy hits at the point and Mehta just ran. Didn't even look, just ran. That's the second run out now, both involving Mehta. Cardy was just starting to fire there. He's fuming. But that's the second wicket for Merrion now, and smacks his pad as he walks off. That brings Irish international John Anderson to the crease, but Merrion not helping themselves there. Second run out of the innings, 50 for 2. Yeah,
2 wickets down, both of those wickets falling to run-outs. And extreme disappointment from Cardy as he walks off. He's disgusted, and I think the reason he's probably so disappointed is that he was looking in great touch, wasn't he?
Yeah, and they probably didn't need to do that. They were getting their boundary and over with ease. Like I said, that ball probably should have gone to the boundary, but there was no need for Mehta to do anything like that. It was a simple throw, didn't have to do anything, and the simplest of run-outs, and just not what Merrion needed at all. And they're not helping themselves there. They're keeping Clontarf in this game, and if Clontarf can pick up a couple of wickets after the power play, they'll be right in this game. But a great time to get a wicket just in the last over of the power play.
And we've seen all throughout finals day, and not just finals day, but also the T20 festival here last month, that the run rate has tended to slow at the end of the power play quite extremely. So if Clontarf can get out of this power play without any further damage, they'll be happy picking up the 2 wickets. That does end the power play. We're going to take a look at the batting card with those graphics on your screen there, and it's 50 for the loss of 2 wickets. We'll just come back to those graphics in 1 second, Andy. We have them on screen for you now. With Punish Mehta 27 not out off 21 balls. Jack Cardy fell for 15 off 8, and both wickets falling to run-outs. Joe Morrissey's going to continue, the Clontarf skipper here in this big final. The LHK Insurance Alan Murray Cup final here at Pembroke Cricket Club. I'm bringing you this live on Cricket Leinster TV, and I'm joined by Irish international Andy Balbirnie to my right, Irish Test match cricketer, and of course Ireland Wolves captain. We've got a big series going on at the moment against Bangladesh 8, and we're delighted to have Andy here with you. Do you enjoy these big days down at Pembroke? Obviously you'd love to be here with your Pembroke team, wouldn't you? Hit straight up in the air, could be the 3rd wicket, short of a length, and that's gone, 3 down. 50 for 3.
Can't really get my head around that. Reckless cricket from Anderson. He's come in on the first ball he's faced. He's tried to hit it onto Willfield Road. Joe Morrissey, no pace on it whatsoever, but he's top edged that and it's gone straight to Obus Pienaar, and not the way you want to start the first over outside the power play. Knock it around, pick up your singles and build an innings, but Anderson goes without scoring. Merrion 50 for 3.
Joe Morrissey is known for just coming in and hitting that back of a length, and you could see Anderson, he advanced down the wicket. He looked to hike it over cow corner really, but because of the line and the length from Morrissey, that wasn't there to be hit. It went straight up in the air, and it was an easy catch, it really was.
Yeah, and there's about 4 or 5 cricketers in Leinster who are huge wickets, and John Anderson is one of those wickets, and to get him without even scoring, getting him first ball of his innings, Clontarf would be cock-a-hoop there, and they're right back in this game. Mehta's there in his own on 27 not out, but someone's got to stay there with him, and Dom Joyce, who got runs in that first semi-final, could be that man.
You can see the delight in the Clontarf camp as well. Pienaar talking to Joe Morrissey. They can't quite believe it, can they?
Yeah, it was reckless. That's all I can say, really. He's a high-class player, John Anderson. I'd be interested to know what he was thinking, but pace off the ball from Joe Morrissey and a gift of a wicket. 2 batters cross, so Mehta facing Joe Morrissey now.
He hits that length again, just worked down for a very quick single. Mehta's been joined by Merrion captain Dom Joyce, who we saw earlier today, so quick between the wickets. And Dom's going to have to play as well as he did earlier in that first semi-final. I know you were watching the live stream, Andy. You were impressed by his innings?
Yeah, and I think he'll have to be as quick as he was the way Mehta's been running in this game. We've had 2 run-outs already, both involving Mehta, so you know, surely we can't see a 3rd one. That was tight. I don't know if you could see it that well on the stream, but it was hit straight at point and Mehta just ran, and
wasn't able to be cleanly collected by Declan Gallagher. It did look like it could have been a chance if it was picked up in a direct hit, but yeah, Mehta looking for the trifecta of run-outs, and we're going to have a dead ball. Joe Morrissey running through his action. A little bit of mind games from the 2 captains there, I think.
Yeah, an ex-Merrion player himself, Joe, I believe.
Correct, yeah.
So
in the early stage of his career alongside his brother Simon.
Yeah, Joyce and Anderson are the kind of heartbeat of this Merrion batting lineup, and if they can get them cheaply in this game, they'll be hot favourites here going into this last session.
Joe Morrissey, huge appeal. Given! What a wicket, the captain strikes. Dom Joyce looks back at his stumps. He's not happy, but he's gone. It's 51 for 4 at Pembroke.
It's just like I said, Lenny. You get Joyce and you get Anderson quickly, you are right on top, and both have fell. First ball, Anderson plays one straight in the air, and Dom Joyce just looks to play round a straight one, and Jomo, what an over this has proven to be from Morrissey, the skipper. First over out of the power play. Meta's stranded here on 28 not out, and wickets falling all around him. Dom Joyce goes first ball, 51 for 4.
2 wickets in the over from Joe Morrissey. We've just seen the replay. That's stitched. That's right in front. No option for the umpire but to give that out. Dom Joyce didn't look happy, but I think he's just disgusted with the fact that he's gone for a first bowler. Kevin O'Brien behind the commentary box waiting to come in. He's raised his finger. Andy Balbirnie's raised his finger. Unanimous that one was stitched. And Joe Morrissey, you can't get the grin off his face right now.
Yeah, and umpire Wood thought long and hard about that. And looking back on the replay, I don't know what he was thinking about, but absolutely plumb. Umpire O'Brien behind us, who is doing his course at the moment, gives it out. Do you like that as a batter? Do you like an umpire who takes his time with his decision rather than get it
giving
done
it
quickly?
straight away?
Get it done, just kill me quickly.
Okay. You want to just be ended.
Yeah. Don't think about it. No eye contact. Just if I'm out, I'm out. Put it up.
For me as a bowler, I like when they think through it and almost delay that gratification of the LBW. But different strokes for everyone, I suppose. Morrissey in again to Langford Smith this time, who's the new batter to the crease.
By the time the umpire's given your LB, you're halfway around the pitch. You're down a cow corner by the time he's giving it out. So
always love an exuberant appeal, Andy. Part of the joy of the game that we love so much. So 2 crucial wickets from Joe Morrissey, the Clontarf captain, and he is cock-a-hoop to say the least. And Punish Mehta is left a lone stand at the moment. He's 28 not out, but Merrion in all sorts of bother now, 4 wickets down.
Yeah, it's been a fascinating first 6 or 7 overs here. Merrion were in absolute cruise control and bossing the way that this game was going, but in the space of 2 or 3 overs, we've seen that the core of the Merrion batting lineup go in quick succession, and Clontarf are right in this game and well on top of Merrion here.
Morrissey again changing his pace, slower ball, driven down the ground by Punish Mehta. That's a great over, as Andy's just said to me here. We're just going to take a little bit of a look at the bowling figures. You'll see them in the graphics appearing on your screen there. 2 overs none for 20 for Sharif al-Islam, 2 overs none for 13 for David Delaney, but the captain leading from the front, he's got 2 for 13 from his 2 overs, and you'd have to think that he's probably going to try and bowl those 4 overs straight through now and get his spell done.
Yeah, I'd say so. Obviously the back end of the innings, the lads be teeing off, and Joe Morrissey is not the quickest around, but sort of perfect time for him to bowl his 4 overs and go for not many runs. David Langford Smith, the new man, yet to face a ball. And you can just spread your field to Mehta, give him the 1 and bowl at the new man. As we see cow corner, deep square, sweeper in the offside, and the 2 men back straight. So I think they're happy. The guys in the ring are on the ring. They're happy to give Mehta the single and bowl at Langford Smith.
The bells ring out in the background at 6 o'clock exactly here from St John's Road Wood Church, and it's Obis Pienaar in with his left arm orthodox to Punish Mehta. Just played back to the bowler. They've really pressure on Mehta now, isn't it? He's got to bat through, you'd think.
Yeah, definitely. He's involved in 2 run-outs. He realises that if he bats the 20 overs, Merrion will have a competitive score. But if he falls in the next couple of overs, Clontarf will be well on top of this game.
The tall, it's hit straight to point. He's gone. It's the 5th wicket. We may have just given him the commentator's curse in the box. We talked about it. He had to bat through. He's gone. Half the wickets are done. It's 52 for 5 in the 8th over.
It's kamikaze batting here, Lenny. We've seen 3 really poor shots from the Merrion batters. We just spoke about how Mehta needs to bat through the innings, and he's been given a bit of width, and Pienaar's picked up another wicket. He's just chipped it to point and gifted them a wicket, and Merrion right up against it. They've lost 5 wickets. They're halfway through their innings here, and really up against it as Michael Lewis comes into the crease. He's got to build something with Langford Smith, or this game could go right from their hands.
Clontarf Cricket Club are the reigning Alan Murray Cup champions, and they look right on course here to go back to back. They of course not only won the Alan Murray Cup last year, but they went on to win the inaugural All-Ireland T20 Cup last year, which brings together the 4 regional winners the domestic T20 competitions. That competition will be later in the month, I believe. And they're right on course here, Andy, to go back-to-back, aren't they?
Yeah, it's been a pulsating first few overs here, Lenny, and it's kind of ebbed and flowed, and Merrion looked like in complete control, but Clontarf have pulled this right back. 2 new men on 0 is always what you want as a fielding side. You get 2 new men in fresh. Pinar's got his tail up here. He's taken a couple of wickets, and we've had everything. We've had run-outs, we've had boundaries. It's had everything, and it's been a great final so far. And you'd like, you know, for the neutral, for these two to kind of put something together, knock it around for a while and consolidate. We haven't seen any consolidation from any of the batters. They've got to realise that they just need to knock it around for a few and then pick up the boundaries when they can. It's
been fast and loose so far. What a final we've got. That's the quicker ball, glided off the face of the bat. Super fielding from Shariful Islam Ropu there at short third man. There is still batting to come for the Merrion fans, though, and I suppose the fact that you've got the experience of David Langford-Smith alongside Michael Lewis, who batted so well in that first semi-final, there's still hope for them. But Clontarf are going to try and apply the squeeze now. So we are into the 8th over, 53 for 5. What are you looking to do here as a batter, Andy? How do you plan?
Yeah, like I just said, I think a period of consolidation. You got to realise that, you know, you're 5 down. And just be willing to knock it around and pick up your 6 and over for a few overs, and then go towards the back end. They can't afford to lose any more. That, you know, you're into the tail, just knock it around, pick up your 1s and 2s.
Try and put the bad ball away. There hasn't been many bad balls so far. It's been impressive and disciplined from the Clontarf bowling attack, led by the versatile veteran that is Joe Morrissey. There hasn't been many more consistent performers in Leinster club cricket over the last 10-15 years, is there?
Yeah, and he's an incredibly passionate person and a passionate player. He loves Clontarf, he loves playing cricket. He's bowling his 3rd over now, which would suggest he'll bowl his 4 overs through, and why not? Because he's bowling well, he's bowling with great control, and the body language of the Clontarf players has just picked up significantly in the last couple of overs. Why not? You know, they have Merrion 5 down, having lost the toss, and Joe Morrissey is bowling beautifully.
They are buzzing round the field, Clontarf, and they are right on top here. A lot of cricket still to be played in this final, though, and Merrion are going to try and wrest their way back into the game, but they're going to need to consolidate, as Andy has said. And it's going to be Joe Morrissey, the Clontarf skipper, to continue from the Sandymount end. Just work down to 3rd man by Michael Lewis. It's interesting to see, I think, fine leg there. Only just got into the circle in time, didn't he, Samir Duddy, had to jog in to complete the required 4 men in the circle.
Yeah, I think if that had happened and had been given a no ball, I think Joe Morrissey may have taken his head off. That's not what you need to be doing at this stage of the game, giving away free hits. But it's good from Michael Lewis, just knock it around, like I said, pick up your 1s and 2s where you can. Langford-Smith's a dangerous batter, so you will pick up boundaries.
Langford-Smith looks to be aggressive. Leading edge, straight to cover, gone, 6 down, Joe Morrissey flung into the air. And that's the 6th wicket here. Merrion in all sorts of bother, 55 for 6.
Langford-Smith just getting too early on it, and the leaning edge goes looping in the air to extra cover, and Langford-Smith goes for a single, another single figure score, and Langford-Smith punches his gloves as Patrick Tice comes into the middle now. 55 for 6, Merrion.
It's Wakar Azmat at cover, who just swoops in to take a low catch. He was delighted. He flung it miles into the air, and I think he wanted that embrace from his skipper, Joe Morrissey. And it's sheer delight from the Clontarf side. They're used to winning trophies, and you can see that. I think that looks to be counting in their favour on the big stage here.
Yeah, and it's probably something that Pembroke as a team, since I've been back, is maybe we've struggled to get over the line in games because we haven't got that, maybe the winning mentality that teams like Clontarf have, and Merrion for that matter. Clontarf are used to winning. They've won Irish Senior Cups, they've won a lot of Leinster Cups, they've won leagues, they've won pretty much everything you can win in the last 5 or 10 years.
Well, Conor Kelly was telling us earlier the amazing stat that they are still technically in contention to win 5 trophies this year.
Yeah.
So if they can get over the line today, they'll go on to the All-Ireland T20 Cup final. They're into the final of the Leinster Senior Cup, they're in the semi-final of the All-Ireland Cup, and obviously they're right in contention in the Leinster Premier League as well. So there could be a historic season for Clontarf Cricket Club, and with all this experience, a vastly experienced side, you might not bet against them winning at least 3 or 4 of those 5 trophies they're in with a shout of.
Absolutely, and the fact that Andrew Pointer can come back into this team, being away this weekend, into that middle order, an Irish international with a lot of experience at this level. Interesting to see the field change now. 2 men straight up, pressure right on Tice.
Tice is the new batsman, Patrick Tice. Of course, the brother of Elena Tice, former Ireland international, one of the youngest Irish cricket internationals of all time, but I think she's forever going to be remembered now as a hockey international. The first part of the first ever Irish squad of any sport, of any gender, to get to a World Cup final. How happy were you to see that earlier?
Yeah, brilliant. You know, we're a pretty small country, we're a pretty small sporting country, so to see us succeed on the world stage in any sport is amazing. And you know, I think there'll be a lot of people cheering them on tomorrow, in all walks of life, no matter what the background of sport. And that's what's great about sport, is that you get so many different people from all around the world just, you know, tuning in, not knowing what's going on, but wanting Ireland to win, and hopefully that'll be the same tomorrow.
No set of supporters in the world quite like the Irish fans, and you could see they absolutely packed into the stadium there in London. Inside edge from Tice, more confusion with the running. He runs back. It's been absolute chaos with the Merrion running between the wickets today, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's what's kind of started this collapse. Is we had 2 run-outs in that first 6 overs, and Merrion haven't really got back to grips of this game, and they've lost wickets most overs. Joe Morrissey's bowled another brilliant over there, picking up a wicket, and he'll no doubt bowl his 4th over from this Willfield Road end, and Obus Pienaar continuing from the top end. But
that's the end of the 9th over. The scorecard remarkably reading 55 for 6, and Clontarf looking to complete a back-to-back LHK Insurance Alan Murray Cup win for the 2nd year in a row after their triumph over Pembroke in the final in 2017. And you wouldn't bet against them doing it right now. They're going to keep trying to keep the squeeze on. No changes of bowling needed. It's kind of old school stuff from Clontarf here. But Obus Pienaar is going to continue with his left arm orthodox from the Sydney Parade end. Full into the slot, inside out. It's a nice shot from Michael Lewis. And that's going to run away all the way to the boundary. Lovely batting.
Yeah, lovely shot. Bit of width off it there by Pienaar, and Lewis has just lofted that over Joe Morrissey at extra cover, and he didn't really have to do anything stupid there. He's just waited for that bad ball and he's put it away with ease. So already started the over and Pienaar's under pressure.
It was a lovely shot that from Michael Lewis, inside out over extra cover. Didn't try to overhit it either, which was nice to see. Let the bat do the work, as the old saying goes. And it raced away to the boundary. Down the ground, hit down to long off. Gone all the way for 6. His heart would have been in his mouth, but that's run away for 6, the first of the innings.
Yeah, good start to the over from Mick Lewis. I don't think he got any of that. It's not a big hit down there to long off, and all Samir Dutt could do was watch it sail over his head, and Pienaar under pressure here in the 10th over. Michael Lewis starting to open his arms.
Into the 10th over, the first 6 of the innings. And his heart would have been in his mouth just temporarily there, Michael Lewis, but it did sail away for 6. Obus Pienaar under trouble, shorter this time. Nice little late cut, misfield, and that's going to run away nearly for 4, pulled in. He might have injured himself in the process, has he? Looks in a bit of trouble there. He looks in a lot of trouble. And I think that might be a hamstring gone, Andy. What do you think?
Yeah, never done my hamstring, but looks as if he's stretching his hamstring down there. He managed to keep it in and keep it down to 3, but he definitely doesn't look too comfortable there, Ropu, and hopefully he'll be alright to continue. Looking a bit more looser there. Seems to be okay.
It was his initial misfield that caused him to exert and get back and save the boundary.
That's the old one, when you misfield the ball and you sort of hold the hammy.
When you drop a catch,
we've all been there. We've all been there.
It's going to be Tice now on strike. I think they ran through for 3 there, didn't they, Andy?
Yeah, 3.
Yeah. So it was 1 run saved or 2 given away. Tice looks for his favourite sweep straight away. He gets that away for 1. If they can bat through the overs, could they still get up to a competitive total here, Andy? Wickets is the problem there.
Yeah, I mean 6 down, it's always hard. You need a partnership from somewhere. I think if Merrion can get themselves to 130 somehow, they're in the game. But anything less than that and a good wicket and a quick outfield, they're going to struggle.
Bobo, Robert Forrest tries to pick up, look for the direct tip. No time there. So they just scamper through for 1. That's going to be the end of the 10th over. That's going to be the end of Andrew Balbirnie and my Andrew Leonard stint here. Andy, thanks for joining us. We're going to see you again before the end of the day. You're going to be in calling the last little session of the day, so you're going to be
still going,
announcing the cup final winners. So thanks for joining us, and we're going to pass over to Peter Boyd. He's going to be joined by Ireland international Kevin O'Brien.
Thanks very much, Lenny. Definitely Clontarf innings so far, and so we'll take over here now as Clontarf are on top and Joe Morrissey about to continue. So, as Lenny said, Kevin O'Brien joining me back in the commentary box as Joe Morrissey comes in to start the 11th over.
Cheers, Peter. Fairly one-sided first 10 overs. Clontarf have started very well, and as Andy Balbirnie mentioned, some kamikaze running between the wickets from the Merrion batsman, resulting in 2 run-outs. But
that really put the skids under them to start with, but then some choice shots, and there's another one that's well up in the air. And that's well held on to again. Walker Asmat, he flicked the cap off to make sure he get eyes on it all the way, watched it into his hands and held on well. And Merrion are 7 down, 70 for 7. Absolutely, the word coming from the back of the commentary booth is imploding, and there's a few other words I'm sure they'll use themselves to describe this performance, but 70 for 7 inside the 11th over. I don't think anyone saw this coming.
I certainly didn't anyway. My favourites tag has well and truly been blown out of the water, but yeah, no, good bowling by Joe Morrissey again. Picking up his 4th wicket. 4 for 14.
4 for 14 so far, and that is an unbelievable performance. He has been the most economical bowler in the Leinster League this season, but picking up his 4th wicket, and it's a fantastic bowling performance from Joe Morrissey. So there we have it. Clontarf well on top now with certainly I wasn't going to mention, you brought it up there, Kevin, yourself. You tipped Merrion for this final, but they're going to have to produce something special here in the final overs of their batting and then bowl their hearts out in the return.
Oh my God.
And well, there's all sorts happening here. There's Keystone Cups, it's up, down, yes, no, maybe, and through all of that, Joe Morrissey somehow avoided getting the ball thrown into his own face from Ovis Pinar to begin it all. He ended up on the floor. Ovis Pinar trying to knock the stumps down, nearly took Joe Morrissey's head off. There was all sorts of things going on there. Oh, that. We can all laugh about it now because it missed everything, but that could have been. Try explaining that. How you got injured was your own player throwing the ball into your face as you had fallen down in your follow through. Joe Morrissey very lucky there to escape the injury.
Frantic stuff, all right. Merrion at 71 for 7 now. So Sean Staunton at the wicket with Patrick Tice. They need to just bat out the overs here and try and get up to maybe 130.
Well, that's all they can do now is to get through the overs and see what they can get, because there's no chance now really of them being able to bat naturally and trying to score at a normal T20 rate. They've just got to see out the overs and see how many they can put on and give their bowler something to bowl to in the chase. That frantic pace there where there was not even a run scored. That was pretty much the most excitement that the Merrion batsmen have been able to put on in their whole innings, and nothing happened. But that's the end of Joe Morrissey's spell, and a fantastic spell it was indeed, taking 4 wickets for 14. Fantastic from the Clontarf captain.
Yeah, the skipper leading from the front there, 4 for 14, 4 crucial wickets, and probably the 4 biggest players that Merrion have, taking out the heart of the Merrion batting lineup. So Connor Kelly I see warming up down along on, so I think he's going to follow Joe from the pavilion end here as Pinar is into his 3rd over.
these two sides have been the top sides really in the province, as was mentioned before, but in the big day, in the big final, Clontarf definitely with the whip hand at the moment as Pienaar comes in, and Sean stands in there, spears it away into the offside for a single.
I'd like to see Joe bring on Dave Delaney here. Bring him back on and try and bowl Merrion out for 70, 80, 85 runs, rather than bringing on Conor Kelly. Try and blow the lower order away here with raw pace, and obviously try and restrict Merrion to as low a total as they can.
Oh, nearly back to the bowler there. Well, it's something we had in their semi-final as well, Kevin. We were on commentary, and they didn't really act in a very clinical way to finish off the chase against Leinster. They took their time and lost a few wickets late on before finally sealing that victory, when they really should have gone out and won that quite more comfortably than they even did. So, as you say, a little bit more clinical here by bringing on David Delaney, their strike bowler, and looking to wrap this innings up quickly. As Pienaar continues now, as you say, into his third over. And Sean Stanton definitely looking to bat the overs, not looking to do anything other than keep the ball out for the moment and try and build some form of a partnership with Patrick Tice. Down to long on for a single there. Just again trying to rotate the strike and build something for Merrion, who have had nothing to go on. They've lost wickets so regularly throughout the first half of this innings. There's that quicker ball again from Pienaar. And that's the end of the 12th over. And leaves Merrion 72 for 7 at the end of the 12th. So 8 overs remaining, looking to see what Merrion can put on, but always Pienaar there finishing his spell. One for 27 off his 4. Not the worst figures in the world, but when you had Joe Morrissey at the other end taking a lot of wickets, he's bowling in tandem with him, so good support from your overseas professional there as well.
Yeah, exactly. Bowling in partnerships, those 8 overs between Pienaar and Morrissey have got, 5 for I think 40 or something off 8 overs, so it's really ripped out the middle order of the Merrion team. So it's, as you see, Conor Kelly coming in. As I said, I'd like to see Dave Delaney come on now. I see him warming up at mid wicket there, so he might be coming on from the top end after this over from Conor Kelly. But try and bowl Merrion out as quickly as they can, and get chasing the runs sooner rather than later.
Well, that's it. The quicker they can bowl them out, I think, obviously reduces the number they have to chase. And at this point in time, they should be chasing something. They'll be looking to keep them well under 100 and chase that down and seal consecutive victories in the LHK Insurance Alan Murray Cup. As Conor Kelly comes in to bowl his first ball. And again, there's plenty in behind it, just keeping the ball out really at this point, Merrion.
Yeah, just all they can do really is just nudge it around, try and put the ball to the gaps. Still look to be positive, but don't take too many risks.
And this Clontarf side, they're relatively old compared to a lot of the sides, particularly the 3 other sides we've seen today, but other sides around the Premier League in Leinster, they're very experienced, quite a settled side. So like that, they're seeking consecutive titles. And more confusion in the running. And he gets back in. But yeah, they're a very settled side and very, very comfortable. They know their roles, and they're not going to be faced by anything like facing a final. So they were very comfortable that they could produce the goods tonight.
I think they had the advantage of playing the first semi-final. Merrion finished the game, and within 15 minutes they tossed, and which can be difficult to get your head around. Playing back-to-back games.
Driven there, good fielding again. Morrissey backing up his bowler. I'm not sure whether it was asked earlier. Have you ever had to be in that position yourself, having to go back to back on a day in a T20?
Yeah, we had it in the Dubai Desert T20. We played Scotland in the semi-final in the afternoon game, and then we had to pretty much go straight out and play Afghanistan in the final. We were bowled out for 80 something similar to this. We were bowled out for about 85. So it's very difficult, to come down. You obviously win the semi-final. You're on a high, and then you got to try and come down and get prepared for the next game. It's difficult to get your head around, and I think maybe Merrion were still still their head might have still been in the semi-final in the first 6 overs here, and you know, being 4 down at the power play, it's left them with a mountain to climb.
That makes a big difference there as well. As Conor Kelly's over finishes, and Merrion just move on to 76 for 7 now. 7 overs remaining. So Joe Morrissey continuing to go through his bowling changes pretty much as he would in a regular T20. Samir Dutt coming on to bowl. So he's not going back to his opening bowlers as we thought, or as Kevin here beside me thought. He's going through as he would and bowling through his bowlers and using all the different variations that he has.
Yeah, I'd like, from a Merrion point of view now, I'd like to see these batters look to be really positive against Samir. Obviously he hasn't bowled a ball yet in this final, so you know, probably the best chance to score at 8-9 and over now is going to be against the off spinner bowling to 2 right-handers. So you know, I'd look to take the aggressive option, use your feet, and look to hit him over the top into the gaps at deep mid wicket there, where, you know, for 2s and 4s. So
yep, the opportunity is there, and there's a gap as well. It's certainly set up for them. And, more confusion there. Can they get the run out again? Not out this time. A little bit of yes, no, maybe, and definitely then at the end. But the running between the wickets has been very, very unusual for Merrion. The calling hasn't been great, and they've got themselves into a lot of difficulty with their running today.
Yeah, and also I was very surprised they changed the batting order. You know, in the semi-final, Langford Smith opened the batting with Jack Carty, and all of a sudden today we see in the final Tyrone Kane opened with Punish Mehta. So it's a very interesting decision to change the batting order. Maybe that might have had an impact in the running between the wickets and the run-outs, you know. But again, they're 77 for 7 now as Samir comes in the bowl again.
Looking for the reverse hit there, but nothing doing.
It's like a reverse leave there almost. Went down to play the reverse sweep, and he just let it hit his pad.
Kind of got caught in the execution of the shot of exactly what he needed to do there. So this time fed into the leg side, but Bill Coughlin was in quickly off the boundary rope and restricts it just to the single.
Billy just about got out of second gear there to stop that too.
Like we said earlier, he doesn't really do much more. If it's second gear, that's probably about it as fast as he gets. He does his work with the bat in hand, and what good work it generally is. Coming down the wicket, and there we have it. The 8th wicket falls. Bobo Forrest with the glove work behind the stumps, but a beautiful delivery from Samir Dutt. Totally done him in the air, and quick work behind the stumps, and that's it for Sean Stanton, I should say.
Heavy celebration from Samir Dutt as well. Ran all the way down to long off to give Owen Delaney a high five. Must have been a plan or something, or a tactic that Owen Delaney suggested, and you know, it's paid off.
It paid off there indeed. And Merrion now, and if they weren't in all sorts of trouble already, they certainly are now. It's 78 for 8. But definitely a big celebration there. We were just saying we haven't had too much big celebrations, but certainly there was something there between Samir Dutt and Owen Delaney. Maybe he's just glad to have him back in the country and back on his team. So welcome him back, an old friend. But that definitely meant a lot to the pair of them. So they didn't go back to the opening bowlers to get those final wickets. But Samir Dutt comes up trumps in his first over. Just quick single there, getting off the mark. So Merrion now really struggling to get anywhere up close to 100 as a target for the Clontarf men to chase. This time the conventional sweep by Tice continues with the strike, but just to get the single off it. Another good over for Clontarf. Score moves on to 80 for 8 through 14 overs.
Yeah, good over by Samir Dutt there, only going for 4. Obviously picking up the wicket as well, but we got 6 overs to go. I think Merrion probably just need. We're all saying bat the overs, but they obviously got to look to try and score some runs as well. They need to get, if they can somehow get up to 120, even 100, just to maybe set a total for Clontarf. But all at the moment, it's looking like it's going to be a Clontarf victory.
Well, I had Rob Castle commentating with me earlier, Ireland's bowling coach. He was saying how a low-scoring T20 match is usually good for bowlers, but I don't think the bowlers can take all the credit for this one. I think there's been some unusual, shall we say, choice selections from shot selections from the Merrion players that have got them into difficulty, and then the running between the wicket has also led them into big trouble. So, yes, the Clontarf bowlers have bowled well, but they've been helped to get into this position by some of the Merrion shots. And there's a big appeal again, but going down the leg, I think.
Again, it was Conor Kelly bowled that ball from just behind the stumps, a 24-yard delivery. Might have been just sliding down the leg as you suggested. But Conor Kelly's had a very good day here today. The first game he was batted and bowled very well, and he's following it up now in the final.
Driven way too long on just for the single. It's the one thing we did notice with the T20 Interprovincial Festival as well, that if you can get off to a good start and build some momentum personally as well, you can have a good weekend. And I suppose that's something similar what Conor Kelly, with the fact that he's had a good day. If you go well in your first match, you can bring that into the final then, and hope to go on and have another good performance individually that leads on to a good result for the team.
Certainly, yeah, of course.
Skewed away off the edge of Tom Stanton's bat, and that will race away across the outfield. Still as dry and as fast as ever here in Pembroke, and that's a valuable 4 runs to the Merrion total.
A rare boundary from Tom Stanton and Merrion off the outside edge, and obviously, as we've seen today, third man, there must have been I'd say 100 runs scored down towards third man today. The outfield is so fast, just got to beat the fielder, and it's going to race away for 4.
It's a good commitment to the cause running back, but only for the captain's effort, really, just to show them that you're still trying, but you're never really going to chase it down here in Pembroke. Bob Forrest ensuring everyone that he's in control there, saying that he's got it, but I think we were quite clear that we all knew that was the case. And no run there again from the last of the over from Conor Kelly, and it's 85 for 8, just the 5 overs remaining now. And it's been all Clontarf really from the outset here this evening in this LHK Insurance Cup final.
Yeah, it's a very one-sided first half so far. Something special is going to have to happen in these last 5 overs from the Merrion batters if they're going to look to try and get up to anything that's going to half challenge this powerful Clontarf batting lineup. At the moment you can only really see them getting 100, 110. And in my eyes, that's not going to be enough. Well,
Patrick Tice may have to emulate the heroics of his sister today in getting Ireland women's hockey team into the World Cup final. He's going to need to manage some of those kind of heroics to get his team up to a competitive total here. That's Tom Stanton on strike now, and drops it down into outside, quick single, and that time they were on their way, good backing up, and no problems in taking that single. But again, at this point in time, they're not really of much use to them. They really need to be hitting for the boundaries. Just having the 2 wickets in hand, but even if they take singles for the rest of the overs now, it's still not going to get them very far. So they really need to be hitting boundaries and getting the music playing here in Pembroke Cricket Club. Again, we're just seeing from Clontarf that lack of a clinical edge. They're just allowing Merrion here just to build a little bit of singles, rotating the strike again. They haven't really gone in for the kill. and ensured that they bowled them out early and finished this innings off. They've allowed, with Conor Kelly and Samir Dutt, the two of them bowling in tandem, they haven't really gone back to ensure that they close out this innings early. As that one's driven down the ground, just one bounce into the long on fielder, and gets the throw up and away, just restricting them to one more.
Good use of his feet there by Tom Staunton, come down the wicket and looking to hit the ball powerfully towards long on, and obviously running hard as well. So if Tice can take a little bit of that into his game, he's 8 off 21 balls. It's not the greatest strike rate in a T20 game. I know there's wickets falling around him, but you still got to be positive. You got to look to hit the boundaries. You got to take the aggressive option, and at the moment, with 4 overs to go, 90 for 8. If Merrion want to get up to 120, they need to finish strongly here, and hopefully Tice can do that. And I think Delaney's now going to come on from. No, he's not going to come on. It's going to be Conor Kelly again.
Conor Kelly again. So, as I say, Joe Morrissey continuing to treat it as he would any other T20 game. Really, he's gone through his bowling options the way he would, but we'll see how this goes from the Sandymount end. Conor Kelly.
Big gap on the leg side there. They can bunt it into the leg side and try and run hard for 2s.
Oh, and that goes straight the way through. Big heave across the line. No connection. But well fielded again, coming around from long leg, really coming around and closing it off, restricting them just to that single again. Tom Stanton coming out to strike here now. He spent a lot of time around the Leinster Lightning squad throughout the summer. Didn't get much game time, but he's someone that's a bright prospect ahead for the Leinster Lightning going on, Kevin. Yeah,
certainly. I think in the T20 format as well. Oh, that's going to be out. Miles out.
And that one's just as we said, they weren't really doing much, but the drop and run didn't work on that occasion. There was no run there, and whipped into Bobo Forrest behind the stumps, who did the needful, and it's now 91 for 9.
Absolutely suicidal running from Tom Staunton. He's literally just blocked it straight to the backward point fielder and called yes, and I'd say Tice was 5 or 6 yards out there.
Well, you called it from halfway down, but even as it was coming off the bat nearly, you called it there, Kevin, that there was never a run. Called his partner through, and it's really going from bad to worse here for Merrion. They're now 91 for 9. And Max Neville coming in at number 11 here is on a hiding to nothing, really. They're going to struggle to make 100. And as you said, with this Clontarf batting lineup and the experience within that lineup as well, it's really not going to be a competitive target, you would think.
I think Max Neville's better off just having a dip here and trying to hit 2 or 3 4s or a couple of 6s. Instead of hanging around for 3.5 overs, may as well just go out playing a few shots.
Well, we had Sean Stanton a few weeks ago up in North County, did exactly that game, look beyond Merrion. He started to swing from the hip, got himself up over 50, got them within 3 runs in the end. He never thought he had a chance of winning the game when he started, but all of a sudden he ended up being a fantastic finish. But I don't think we're onto anything similar to that today, but I think you're dead right that these two lads can just swing easy. They shouldn't be the ones expected to make the run, so they have a free hit here at the moment. It's disappointing for this cup final that in one way that they won't be able to set a really high target for Clontarf to chase down, but credit where credit's due. Clontarf have taken their chances, taken the catches, and taken advantage of some sloppy running from Merrion in this first innings. Again, Conor Kelly delivering the ball from way behind the crease. I don't know whether that's to save his legs from having to continue his run up or
that's just one of his one of his many variations. You often see spinners bowling from behind the stumps. It's something that Conor's introduced as well.
That's it. Pushed into the leg side, well fielded by Ovis Pienaar, and just a single then. And that's the end of Conor Kelly's over. That's the 17th completed, and it's 92 now for 9. very good set from Conor Kelly so far. Just 9 runs off his 3 overs, so he's backed up the economical bowling and the wicket taker bowling then of his captain Joe Morrissey. So it's been a good combination. Maybe we said that he could have gone back. Joe Morrissey could have gone back to David Delaney and the opening bowlers as well, and Ropu Islam, but it's been effective between himself and Samir Dutt. They've taken a couple of wickets.
Yeah, it looks like maybe they're thinking keeping the pace off the ball is the best way to go against the lower order. It's proving that way at the moment, 92 for 9. But as I said, Max Neville now, it's hitting with the spin, hitting to a fairly short boundary. I'll be looking for him to free the arms here and try and hit a couple of boundaries.
Well, that's the opportunity to get himself a big highlight up over the wall, over the Pembroke wall, into one of the gardens. He just flicked into the leg side this time. It'll just be a single.
Well, we've been very impressed with Clontarf's bowling, not just now in the final, but also in the semi-final. I think they've got all bases covered. They've got raw pace in Delaney. They've got off spinning Samir Dutt, left arm spinning Obas Pinar. They've obviously got Joe Morrissey, who the experienced campaigner, and Conor Kelly, who's got all the variations. So they've got everything covered. They're just really missing a leg spinner at the moment. If they can somehow find a leg spinner and get him into the team, they have all bases covered. But they're a very, very strong unit, both bat, ball, and obviously in the field today, as we've seen.
Another dot ball there to Dutt, and that's the thing about them. They are a team. There's not too many stars. David Delaney working his way into the Ireland Wolves squad and into the edges of the Ireland senior squad. But other than that, they're good squad members and team members. There's no real stars at the moment who are standing out and pushing themselves above everyone else. They're all good at what they do, and they take on board what they can do and provide for each other as a team.
Yeah, they're all obviously very, 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 very good cricketers. They all know their roles. They're all experienced, as you said. So they've been here, done it before. And Conor Kelly's going to bowl the 19th over here, which I think they're keeping the pace off the ball. Maybe Delaney might bowl the last from the far end, but I think it's a good option maybe to keep Conor Kelly going. He's bowled 2 overs for 9, I think it is. So he's asking the batters to put pace on the ball. He's mixing up his pace with, and he's also mixing up where he's delivering the ball on the crease. So he's proving his worth today.
Card way backward of square there, and that's going to run away, I think, again. Max Neville got that one, and well fielded in the deep, restricting them. Saves a run and just shows the commitment of this Clontarf team. They've got Merrion in a very weak position due to how well they're doing, but saving a run by chasing that one down. They're not prepared to give up on anything and let them even get an extra run through a lack of commitment to the cause. That one's high in the air. Obas Pinar settles under it, and he hangs on to finish the Merrion innings. Well, that's symptomatic of the whole Merrion innings, really. Tossed up to be hit, having to put the pace on it themselves, and it's caught on the boundary rope. That's Merrion all out for 100 exactly. Well, as we said, Kevin, that's the end of the Merrion innings, and we don't think that will be enough really for this strong Clontarf outfit to have to chase down.
On paper, no, but of course Merrion do have a very good bowling attack as well, led by Tyrone Kane. But I can't see that total challenging Clontarf too much. 100 all out with the power they have, and Bill Coughlin and Conor Kelly will come out all guns blazing, and it promises to be an exciting and quick run chase, I imagine.
And there we see the batting card for Merrion going through. They lost wickets at regular intervals throughout. Punish Mehta really the only one to get a start. It is 29, but the wickets fell at regular intervals. Joe Morrissey tore through the middle order and went through, and then nobody else really able to get a start. Michael Lewis and Patrick Tice getting into the teens down through the lower order, but then the final wicket there was Tom Stanton to fall for 10. Connor Kelly taking his wicket, Pinar taking the catch on the long on boundary. And there's the bowling figures. Shariful Islam opening up, taking going for 20 runs off his 2, with Joe Morrissey, the standout bowler, 4 for 14 off his 4 overs, as Clontarf were very, very clinical in bowling Merrion out for 100 runs. They will chase down 101 to win the LHK Insurance Alan Murray Cup final here in Pembroke. We'll see you in 10 minutes.
Welcome back to Pembroke Cricket Club Sydney Parade for the final of the LHK Insurance Alan Murray Cup here between Merrion and Clontarf. And what a first 20 overs we had. It wasn't even 20 overs, it was 18.2 overs. Merrion Cricket Club bowled out in remarkable circumstances for 100 runs. I'm Andrew Leonard, going to be joined by the man to my right, Alan Lewis, former Ireland cricket captain. Alan, talk us through what happened in that first innings.
Well, it was just a dreadful batting display by Merrion. There's no easier way of putting it. Having got off to a flyer, I suppose crucially, Anderson out for naught, Dom Joyce out for naught. It knocks the stuffing out of you, and it, in essence, in T20 cricket, it actually becomes cancerous. And it just went all the way down the team. You had run-outs, you had some appalling shots.
You have 3 Ireland internationals there. John Anderson, a first ball duck. Dom Joyce, a first ball duck. David Langford-Smith, a second ball dismissal for 1. Extraordinary stuff.
Just not good enough. And Clontarf, I suppose, in a sense, for the public, which has turned up on its numbers now, and it's, as is customary, that wall is full. Again, a beautiful day down here in Pembroke in terms of hosting these things, but Merrion are going to have to take wickets, and they're going to have to take wickets early.
So it's Tyrone Kane, the Irish Test match cricketer, to open the bowling, and Merrion are going to need a miracle here defending this 100 on a good Pembroke track, aren't they?
They certainly are. There's no doubt about that. And they're going to have to take wickets early, and already 2 slips posted. And realistically, the only thing that's going to win Merrion this game is wickets. So,
Alan, we're talking to you here not only in your role as a bit of an Irish cricket legend, but also YMCA coach. You were disappointed with the result earlier, were you?
Well, I was. There was a lot of aspects of our play that was very good, and there was some that was desperate. And I think if you
short, edged, down to third man, just going to be a single. Bill Coughlin almost a little early on his hook.
If you look at it in the cold light of day, I think YM's extras were close enough to 20, and Merrion were very disciplined with the ball. And if you look at the difference between the 2 totals, the other thing, we lost wickets at kind of crucial times. Jack and Harry Tector were pushing along. Jack got out, then Harry and Parker were pushing along. Harry got out, probably looking to hit to the wrong area of the ground. Straight was the shortest distance you've got to travel, and probably the easiest way in which to hit the ball.
That's going to be at least 1 run, just down to third man, 1 run. Bill Coughlin's away, his innings is underway. You came up 25 runs short against this Merrion side, but as you said, when the 2 Tector brothers were going, you looked like you were right in the game.
Well, we were in the game with 6 overs to go. James Parkinson can be a lethal hitter to the ball. He probably didn't get enough strike. It was difficult. There was no really established partnerships, and then towards the end it's difficult. Obviously we've got a lot of young cricketers for Tim Tector, Mitchell Thompson. They're
Kane in edged. Oh, no second slip, and it's going to run away for 4. They have 1 slip in a gully. It goes in between the 2 of them, and that's 4 runs. That was nearly a chance, wasn't it?
Yeah, extraordinary. They seem to have moved the second slip, which had been there 2 balls previously. Carty has come out to a kind of a no man's land 4th slip.
It's kind of a gully, isn't it, Alan? And we can see it here in the replay. It was very wide, but that would have been maybe 2.5 slips, a real chance. And if Merrion are going to have any chance of winning this game, they must take wickets and they must take their chances.
They could probably do with putting another slip in there.
Kane in again. It's off the thigh pad of Bill Coughlin. Just going to run down to David Langford-Smith at fine leg, and I think that will correctly be signalled as a leg by.
But as you said earlier, Lenny, when we were on commentary, Clontarf, vastly experienced team. They never panicked. They went for plenty early, but then to lose, as you say, 3 international cricketers for a total of 1 run and 4 or 5 balls is just ultimately inexcusable.
Tyrone Kane in again, this time to Conor Kelly. Oh, lovely length. Kelly pokes at it, but no edge through the keeper Tice. That's going to be the end of the first over. Clontarf requiring 101 to win. They are 8 for none.
Yeah, just let's talk a little bit about Tyrone Kane. He's had a remarkable year, really, in the sense that, was overlooked for the Bangladesh A tour last year and came in and had a kind of dream debut in the sense that he was part of history playing against Pakistan and actually bowled a lot better than his figures suggested.
Very unlucky to go wicketless, particularly in the first innings.
And you can just see, you know, even there, he's probably since this time last year put a yard on a pace, and perhaps that's, you know, his working with Rob Castle.
Interesting option here from Merrion captain Dom Joyce, perhaps recognising that they need wickets in this final. It's going to be really interesting to see what happens here, because he's going to go to Tom Stanton, his left arm spin. It's in the power play, but he bowled supremely well in that first semi-final against YMCA. He had bowled 4 overs, 3 for 20, and he's going to need wickets here. Do you like this move, Alan?
I'm not so sure. I think, you know, the other side of things is that yes, he did, but you know, you're talking yourself about an overseas professional who also bowled very well and cleverly, who's got that little bit of pace, and just looking at both of these players off the back foot, slips in, you know, swinging it away from the right hander. I can't say one way or the other, Lenny. You know, it's a clever move in certain ways, but it's a wee bit defensive. We don't even have a slip in. You know, we're waiting for something to happen as opposed to making something happen.
Dom Joyce is gambling, spin in the power play, just a second over the innings. Kelly looks to sweep. There is a man out in the deep on the leg side, but it's going to beat him. That's going to arrive for 4. Wonderful sweep shot, Conor Kelly.
Fantastic sweep shot, and I overheard you saying between yourself and Kevin O'Brien that Conor was one of the most perhaps underrated and fantastically talented players at under 19, and he was. And that's again an idea. He can clearly see the space there, and already Poona's been moved much squarer, and Conor Kelly would have been aware of that. And I would imagine if this ball is tossed up and above the eye line, you and I could be
we could be in the hidden zone down here, Louis,
quietly here. And that's he's got a very, very good cricket brain, Conor Kelly. He used to actually. We'll just wait till this ball is bowled.
Down the track, straight down the ground towards long on. One bounce, well fielded by Jack Carty. That's just going to be one. There's not many people who pick up length better from a spinner than Conor Kelly in Leinster cricket.
Well, and the other side of things is he gets inside the ball, so he keeps his head in line with the ball. He's not falling over. He's not coming down in desperation. As you say, absolutely. He's seeing above the eye line, and he shuffles beautifully down the...
Stanton to Coughlin now, off the outside edge. And there's going to be no run there. They don't need to take any mad chances with their running between the wickets. They need less than 5 and over.
Well, there won't be any mad chances, but I think the other side of things is they're going to go about it very aggressively, and we've seen that already with Conor Kelly. And again, it's quite interesting watching, you know, Bill Coughlin play the left arm spin. Conor Kelly, he just seems to have that little bit more time,
doesn't he? Just Stanton in to Coughlin, full, looks at the slog sweep, well fielded by Dom Joyce. Tricky ones those, aren't they? They bounce just in front of you as a fielder. You've got to put your body on the line.
Absolutely. So Clontarf, after 2 overs 14, and it's interesting, Tom Staunton, of course, used to bowl medium pace and has changed to orthodox left arm spin, and he's done so with great success, to be fair to him, and it's not an easy thing to do, but he has done it. And in league games we played against them this year, he picked up 5 wickets for little or no runs, and I've been watching his progress, and he's done well. He's done well. He's a clever bowler. Such
a string to have in your team's bow is that left orthodox spin. Going to be Tyrone Kane to continue his second over from the Sydney Parade end. He's coming into Conor Kelly, and he certainly is getting the ball through, isn't he?
Absolutely, and I think he's just got that extra yard of pace now, TK. Often I felt with Tyrone, and it's something I'm not kind of hiding any secrets, he's always had that talent. It's just a question of expressing it, and I think, you know, I've been criticised for comments in the past, but I think a bit of truth and honesty never hurts. He's a fantastic fielder. I've always kind of said to him, show it, you know, show it, and he's shown it with the ball this year.
And he's sprinting in here, full into the slot. Tyrone Kane can only get one hand on that, and that's going to run away for 4. Powerfully struck by Conor Kelly, continuing his aggressive role at the top of the order. Wonderful batting.
Absolutely superb batting. And he knows exactly what he's doing.
Was it even half a chance?
I don't think it was half a chance. I think he nearly predicted, you know, because I don't know whether you've noticed, if you watch TK, he comes in with the ball in his left hand and swaps it. But, well, possibly half a chance. Yeah, you're absolutely right. But it was hit very, very hard.
very powerfully. Conor Kelly has been in sensational touch. Shorter this time onto the pull. There's no man in the deep. That's going to fly away all the way for 6. Conor Kelly is a man in form, and he could be leading Clontarf to back-to-back Alan Murray Copes here at Pembroke Cricket Club.
There's no doubt about that. He latched onto it very quickly. Nonchalantly plonks it for 6. Fantastic shot by Conor Kelly. We just keep talking about Conor Kelly.
Well, is Conor Kelly taking a liking to Irish internationals today, or is it just me? He dispatched George Dockrell for 16 in an over, and he's just gone 4-6 against Tyrone Kane. Is he trying to make a statement here?
Oh, I think there's no there's been players. Conor used to work with me for 3 years, and we used to talk long and hard about cricket, and I used to say that to him, you know, in terms of getting into shape, getting into the right place, because he has this ability, you know. And again, he bowls these little in-duckers. Remember Chris Harris from New Zealand?
Very similar,
very
actually.
successful one-day bowler,
Stump to stump.
and I just said, you know, why? Like, why? Oh, you know, and it's never too late for any of these things. Although, you know, probably talking to Conor, that he kind of feels.
It's great to see him shining outside edge, straight to first slip, and he's gone. Tyrone Kane celebrates. John Anderson takes a comfortable catch. That's the first wicket in the second over. In the third over, it's 25 for 1.
Just as I say that, commentator's curse. Good thick edge, out for 17. But again, in terms of balls faced and what he does, I'm always a believer in these things, Lenny. That's 17. It's probably coming 10 or 11, 12.
9 balls.
9 balls. Well, there you are.
Yeah.
And, you know, you can pontificate all you like about this format of the game. He's done a great job for his team. 17 off 9 balls. I'd take that any day of the week.
He's got them off to a flyer. There's no doubt about that. And it brings to the wicket a man in imperious form in Leinster club cricket. That's Obus Pienaar, the South African club professional here at Clontarf Cricket Club. And he's going to be looking to assess the situation. 76 more needed to win and to retain this LHK Insurance Alan Murray Cup. And I've no doubt that himself and Bill Coughlin will be looking to do this in one partnership.
There's no doubt about that. In this format of the game, they've been very, very good. They've just got the nice balance to their team. Clontarf, and you think that Andrew Pointer isn't even with us today. Fantastic T20 player. I remember a fantastic innings by Andrew. West Indies, you know, in terms of ball striking and hitting, that victory we had in Sabina Park, where he took 17 off the 17th over. I know Kevy's not here now, but again, it was a fantastic piece of work by him, and he's a wonderful striker of the ball. So I'm sure if they win, he'll be all set for All Ireland finals.
Well, we've already had him on the Twitter machine watching from across the pond there in the UK, and he's been watching every ball avidly, which is great to hear. And thanks for everyone for getting engaged on social media with us. Driven through the covers by Obus Pienaar. It's just going to run away for 2. We've had viewers from over 50 countries already today, and that's the power of the internet, and it's wonderful to have and see so many people tuning in.
All my best wishes to Points and the family, if they are tuned in and enjoying themselves. And
it's the end of the third over. Clontarf 27 for 1, right on top, and they do just need this very small total of 100 is what they're chasing. They're going to need 101 to win, retain the Alan Murray Cup. And a change in bowling already. That experiment with spin bowling was for just 1 over, and it's going to be the big tall rangy Jack Carty to come on from the Sandymount end of the ground here now. And change of action as well, of course, right arm over. Going to have 2 men in the deep, Louis. Whereabouts are they going to go now?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that, because the producer, Mr. Tector, was in my ear.
Yeah, and of course we're here with HBV Studios. We're delighted to be bringing you these pictures. I was just asking you, where do you think they'll place the 2 men in the deep, Alan, with obviously the power play restrictions, meaning there can only be 2 outside the 30-yard circle?
Jack Carty kind of swings the ball in, so long on would be one of the areas, and again the other deep square leg. But from the point of view of
Carty in good length, hit into the
that's a
offside.
fantastic shot by Bill Coughlin, beautifully punched off the back foot. And if you're to look at an area where you need to be protecting, it's outside off stump. It's where Bill Coughlin is incredibly good and having coached and been around Bill, that's the area you need to protect. I don't think it's going to be going to deep square leg, let me put it that way.
There is no protection on that deep cover boundary. The two men out, as we spoke about it, deep long on and deep square leg, really. So anything that beats the infield on the offside is going to run away for 4. And Jack Carty punished there outside off. Clontarf looking to make short work of this chase. And the power play is the time for them to cash in. 31 for 1 in the 4th over here now. Their run rate spiralling near 10 and over, Louis.
Well, you'd expect that in the power play. You know, often you kind of look at teams or targets, and I think most of the time in any of the games, like obviously I'm taking different pitches and conditions in the UK. That game that we witnessed last night
between Middlesex and Surrey in the
different grade. But let's talk about here. You're looking at anything between 45 or 50 in the power play.
Cardi in, Fuller driven, but straight to the extra cover fielder. Dot ball.
Do you not find it surprising here that Merrion's overseas professional is languishing out at deep square leg, bowls at a reasonable lick, and he's not even seen in the power play? Does that surprise you? Yeah, it is very surprising, and he bowled absolutely beautiful in that semi-final against Alan Lewis's YMCA. He bowled 4 overs, 2 for 19. He was definitely the standout bowler on show. It's down the leg side, dropped. Straight in and straight out, and you cannot afford to be dropping chances when you're defending 100. There's a great phrase in the Tector household, and it's talked about in our club regularly, that Alice with one hand behind her back would have taken that chance. She's taken a number of chances. She's only 11 years old, but that is a dolly. Yeah, that was straight to the man at short fine leg. It's popped in and popped out. It did go to him quickly, in fairness, but as Louis says, it should have been taken. Could we have a Tyrone Kane is the answer to that? Oh no, is it? Yes, it is. Tyrone Kane dropped that count. I could think of a song for that, Lenny, if you were thinking of it. Popped in and it popped out again. Disappointed he will be with that drop, no doubt. He's going to continue from the far end, and you can see his disappointment. In fact, it is tricky sometimes out fine leg when it comes at you quickly, because you are unsighted at first. Well, it is, but it's a catch you'd expect to be taken, and just seems Merrion understandably are flat here. That second wicket could have got them right back into the game. It would have removed both openers. Bill Coughlin going, but it's going to be Tyrone Kane to continue, and he's bowling to Obus Pienaar. Short pulled off the body, little chance of a ricochet onto the stumps, but he survives. Dot ball. Of course, there's been a lot of T20 cricket played at Pembroke this season, and again, pitch prepared by GM by choice, and they've done a very fine job. Pembroke always present this ground very, very well, and you can clearly see there. Kane into Pienaar, just left alone. It's going to be a dot ball again. I think the reaction of Dom Joyce, the captain and mid-wicket, tells its own story. Yeah, we're just watching a replay back on the monitor in front of us here that you won't be seeing on your screens, and certainly Dom Joyce was disappointed, to say the least. Certainly was. I think it's your hands on hips when you want to show your disgust. What's the old saying? The double teapot, isn't it? Double teapot. Good one, Landau. In comes Kane from the Sydney Parade end, full, driven elegantly, but well around by Punish Mehta, and he saves a chance of any runs. I think what they might be looking at doing is getting 3 from Tyrone Kane and then Punish Mehta into the attack. But for Merrion to have any chance, we've said this already, but they're going to need to take wickets, and those wickets aren't forthcoming just yet, just the one to fall. And when the required run rate's 4.5 and over with 9 wickets left in the hutch. Well, I used to live in an era where 4.5 and over you still felt you were in the game. So that just shows you how old I am. But Kane in again. Lovely technique from Pienaar to block that back. And he can do that. He can respect the good balls, can't he? Well, it was always the tale and the story of any of the teams when you felt you were playing against players that might have been above your station. If you put the ball in the right area, it doesn't matter whether it's Viv Richards or whoever, they'll treat any decent ball. With respect now, it's even probably harder these days because good balls can get hit for 4 and it does things to your head. But
Kane into Pienaar, short, picked up on that length quickly. That's going to fly away, 1 bounce 4. That's a glorious pull shot from Obus Pienaar.
that is a fantastic shot and showing all his class and style there. Obus Pienaar latching onto anything that's a little bit short, and that was short, and he smashed it away, 1 bounce for 4.
It was powerful, it was flat, and it landed just inside the rope and crashed into the wall, the full Pembroke wall. And it's so wonderful to see a packed house here at Pembroke, the Sydney Parade ground. And it's just a shame that we might not get a full 40 overs of cricket here, because Clontarf are looking right on track to chase down this total in jig time.
Yeah, I think that, like obviously spectators, whether you're Merrion supporters or Clontarf supporters, you always want, an exciting and challenging game of cricket. And it's one of the things with T20 cricket. These are the sorts of things that can happen. And Merrion bowled out for 100 in less than their 20 overs is remarkable, but it is what happened. And Clontarf are just sailing along here quietly and calmly.
It can happen a bit that sometimes, can't it, in 2020 cricket, because you're obviously looking to play aggressively. If you lose wickets quickly, that can just spiral out of control. Somebody used the word that Merrion imploded during their batting innings.
Well, they completely imploded, and we are where we are. And you would probably have expected more from their senior players, and I'm sure they'll look back on today and say, that's it, because it's in these big games that you do look to your big players.
Cardi in now to Coughlin. Good length. Just clipped off his front pad. It's going to run away from fine leg for 2. Well picked up by Tyrone Kane. Let's just talk quickly, Alan, please, about the end of the season now for you in terms of YMCA and the rest of the clubs in the Mason Alexander LHW Financial Planning Cricket Leinster Premier League. Interesting table, isn't it? The 2 sides we're watching here are first and second, so you could say the cream have risen to the top of the T20 finals day here. But who are you backing to win the league, the Premier League?
Look, that's a difficult one for me to answer, Len. I think any team that wins 4 of their last 5 games will have a chance.
Would you include your own club YMCA?
Of course I would. Yes, I would. Because if you look at that table, you can clearly see from 1st to 5th. If Pembroke, as an example, were to win 5 out of 5, they'll challenge.
They'll go on and possibly win the league, yes. Driven by Coughlin, dot ball.
You've got to look at it objectively and say, look, probably on form, Clontarf and Merrion are the teams to beat. But they've got to play each other once.
And I think the fascinating thing about this season, as you said earlier, there is no side that hasn't lost at least 3 games in that league table. So we're going to be in for another thrilling finish to another Cricket Leinster competition this year. Hit out to point, always going to be a single there.
I need to ask you another question, obviously, as one of the great leg spinning experts. Were you impressed with the performance of Mitchell Thompson?
Yeah, I thought he was absolutely outstanding. For a young boy like that to come in and bowl one of his 4 overs in the power play. I think he was clipped for a 6 in his first over. And then to get out of his spell, he did go wicketless, but he bowled 4 overs. I think it was none for 19, none for 17. And yeah, it was outstanding to see such confidence, and you could see he bowled a good pace, and he really put the batsman under pressure. So another young Irish cricketer who's benefited from time overseas. And I think, Brian O'Rourke and all of his efforts with the Leinster Youth Development Programme, sending these kids down to South Africa, down to Australia, and getting experience in those other conditions is really bearing fruit for not just Leinster cricket, but Irish cricket.
Well, it's interesting that you go on to that point, because Brian has been instrumental over the last number of years in the development of so many young cricketers in Leinster, and his innovative thinking and various bits and pieces he's done, and the legacy being, again, as you say, these trips, not alone just cricket, but also the development of boys into men. And certainly I know a number that, and you were here with Andrew Balbirnie, I think he was probably part of the inaugural programme that went over to South Africa. We have some wonderful relationships with Wim Janssen and various different people in the schools, and these These kids have Harry Tector's another one, Jack Tector's another one.
Several Irish cricketers coming through that Leinster Schools programme, going down to exchange down to South Africa. Just have a quick look at the scorecard on screen there. Bill Coughlin and Obus Pinar at the wicket. Power play finished 39 for 1, but for Clontarf they won't be too worried about the run rate because they just need to keep wickets in hand to chase down this total. And it's going to be that change of bowling we discussed that could well happen. And this is the crucial spell of the LHK Insurance Alan Murray Cup final. Because if Punish Mehta doesn't get wickets here, you have to think it's all over.
Well, Peter Boyd reminded me from behind the scorebox that Punish Mehta doesn't bowl in the power play, which does surprise me. Why wouldn't you want a new nut in your hand? He bowls at a good pace. He gets the ball to swing away. You know, that early on, that's the time you want to be taking wickets, not 39 for 1 off 6 overs. But at the same time, in terms of the context of this match, if he can change the shape of it right now with some wickets, who knows?
Mehta in. Short, pulled away. What a strike that is, but it's straight to the man. It's taken. What a
catch!
Brilliant from Tom Stanton. That could not have come more out of the middle for Obus Pinar. It was short, and Punish Mehta's got a wicket with the first ball.
That is a fantastic catch. It was a long hop. To all intents and purposes, you were saying, take that out of the gardens. And Tom Staunton has taken a fantastic catch, made it a difficult catch look extraordinarily comfortable, Lenny. Brilliant catch by Staunton on the boundary.
Tom Stanton, a left-handed Tom Stanton, and I think that might have benefited him. He was going to his left, and he's taken that with his more dominant hand. And most impressively, he stayed it within the rope, right in front of a packed wall here in Pembroke Cricket Club. That's one of the moments of the day for me.
Well, I'm going to ask you a question. Had you taken that catch, Lenny, where would you have gone? That's the question. Would the shirt have been on or off? Would the glasses have been on or off?
Well, of course, the glasses and the shirt would have stayed on, but I might have taken a little bit longer to stop running because of a man of my age. You know, the turning circle's a bit slower than someone as young and fit as Tom.
You always remind me of Peter Kay. Show me the way to Amarillo.
And we do love a bit of entertainment. That's why we're involved in this game that we love.
Lenny, you're one of the great entertainers. There's no doubt about that. And it's why you're loved all around the world. The cricketing badger of life.
Thank you, Alan. We're going to keep it on the LHK Insurance Murray Cup final, though, for the moment. Punish Mehta could well have just changed this game. They're only defending 100. The score is 39 for 2, and you just get a sense if he can pick up 1 or 2 more here, and straight away Captain Dom Joyce goes to attack. 2 slips in all of a sudden. The Indian professional Punish Mehta from the Sydney Parade end hits a beautiful length straight away. Beauty.
Well, you see, that is the length to bowl, and again, this will be the crucial piece. It's quite interesting. Merrion going with 6-3 here. I think they've got to gamble. They've got to get someone else over in a catching position on the offside, Lenny. That would be my view. They need to get another slip in.
Wakar Azmat is the new man, but as the batsman crossed, it continues to be Bill Coughlin on strike. That was a real beauty from Punish Mehta, and he continues to impress here in finals day. Good length that, just blocked back by Bill Coughlin. You'd think with Bill Coughlin's experience, he'll just be trying to survive the spell, won't he?
Well, I was gonna actually mention that to you, Lenny. I think you're absolutely right. That's what he will do. He'll understand what's going in here. He'll realise that this is the danger man, and Punesh's 4 overs will be the turning point here in whether Merrion can salvage something from this match.
Met in again, shorter this time, and it's signalled too short by the square leg umpire, and the standing umpire Scott Richardson has picked that up, and it is signalled wide. Good umpiring in partners there.
Yes, it was definitely a wide ball. It was overhead high, no doubt about that.
He's a tall man, Bill Coughlin, standing about 6'4". It's also signalled as the 1 for the over from Richardson, so Bill Coughlin will know the next delivery is going to have to be fuller. And yeah, looking back on the replay there, certainly looked to be over his head height. Mehta in again, good length this time. Driven into the covers, that's going to be a dot ball though. It's a funny old game, cricket, isn't it? 10 minutes ago we were talking about how this final could be over in no time. But now it's 40 for 2. Meta's got the wind behind his back. And it looks like there's a game on all of a sudden.
Well, I think you're getting a wee bit giddy, Lenny, which you do from time to time. I think Clontarf are definitely in the box seat here. And I know you're trying to get me going, but there's no doubt you are unbelievable. This is crucial. And what you said earlier with Bill Coughlin.
Here comes Meta. Good length.
He's
you can
absolutely right.
Coughlin just trying to see this spell out. It's great to see this, though, in all formats of cricket, whether it be 2020 ODI or longer 4-day test match cricket stuff. You want to see a battle between bat and ball, and that's what's so brilliant to see here.
Well, this is why I'm asking you. You know, we've got a 6-3 field. I'm asking you the question, Lenny. We've got no one saving one on the leg side, which is fine. But I'm asking you now, would you get someone over offside? You've got to get someone in another catching position. Catchers
at the moment at first slip and gully. The three men that Alan is referring to out on the leg side at deep long on. Deep square leg where Tom Staunton took that wonderful catch, and fine leg in front of us here. David Langford-Smith Meta in, edged just between the two men, directly between the two men, between first slip and gully. Did you think that was a chance for a second?
See, this is what I'm saying to you, Lan. I've been around this game a long time. You've got to gamble. We've got David Langford-Smith at fine leg. Get rid of him. Get him into slip. Get him into a catching position.
Now, it
wouldn't have been a catch there, but the bottom line is, get him into a catching position.
It was edged straight down to third man, and I think what Alan Lewis is trying to describe so well to you here, all the viewers from right around the world, is the fact that if Merrion don't get wickets in this key spell here from Punish Meta, they can't win this final. So at the end of that 7th over, it was a real cracking over, one of the best of the festival, the best of the day here so far. It's 41 for 2. And Clontarf need exactly 60 to win. Hit through the offside. That's going to race away for 4.
That's Bill Coughlin's area. And smashed away. And interestingly enough, the first ball of the over, it's always a ball you target when you're looking to hit any sort of premeditative. It's up there, you're going to go. And there's probably no better exponent in Leinster senior cricket than Bill Coughlin in getting the ball into those areas. Fantastic shot from Bill.
Interesting, he hit that length, but Bill Coughlin just played through it. Play and a miss this time. There's still a bit in this game, Alan, and you can feel the crowd really getting into it. Maybe it's that Saturday night of the bank holiday atmosphere. But you can feel every ball there's a reaction at the moment, isn't there?
Well, there is. They're two very well supported clubs, Clontarf and Merrion.
North side v south side, of course.
North side v south side. You could call them Real Madrid versus Barcelona.
Certainly the dominant forces in not only Leinster cricket at the moment, but alongside Warringstown, probably the dominant 3 forces in Irish cricket, these 3 clubs in recent years. And I think the really interesting thing is both sides have been very settled over recent years. They've got a huge amount of experience, and is that why they've been so dominant?
Well, it is, and I kind of go back again. I'm sorry to be talking about the man on my right hand side here, David Streak, when he played for Phoenix in the 90s, early 90s, YMCA in the late 80s, early 90s. Also, you grow with a team, and one side of it would be that they're incredibly settled at the moment, but in 3 or 4 years' time, who knows? And that's not a matter for the here and now, but you've got to continually evolve. And I certainly know from our own experience that when a lot of people, and you can take it even at test level, Australia, all the big players retiring at the one time, it took Australia probably 4 years to recover from that.
Yep.
You've just got to be so very careful in your evolution as a team that you keep. We could talk about it in the context of the Irish team, through that spell of 2011, probably when we were in our pomp to 2000.
Golden generation they're referred to as of Irish cricket.
Yeah, and now you're trying to, look at players like, the Delaney's, the Tectors, the
Carty in leg side this time.
Good take, Patrick Tice.
Really good take from Patrick Tice. He saves any further damage than just a solitary wide, but you can see from behind the bowler's arm here, you can see Carty really starting to get the ball to tuck, and it's doing a bit there now.
Special day, of course, for Patrick Tice today, Lenny.
Magical day.
Lena.
Magical day for Irish sport, Alan.
Absolutely. Lena Tice, of course, sister of Paddy. World Cup final. Hockey extraordinary.
Carty into Coughlin, and he smashes that through the covers. It was at a catchable height, but it was wide of the extra cover, who possibly could have been straighter, but that's run away for 4.
What I find mind-boggling is Merrion posting deep square leg, long on. They're not the areas that Bill Coughlin hits. And what you've seen there is vintage Coughlin in the areas that he does hit. And there's no better player through extra cover in Leinster senior cricket than Bill Coughlin. And it shows it there. Look at that head position, easing it through, pushes that bottom hand, whacks it through extra cover. Fantastic shot.
And how often do you see that, Alan? The 6th ball of that over was a wide. It had to be bowled again, and that ran away for 4, so the wides cost him 5. Clontarf 50 for 2 after 8 overs. They're halfway there, and they got 12 overs to get these remaining runs now.
Well, it's just really, I suppose, and it's interesting now, Dom Joyce quite correctly getting himself into 3rd slip, although ironically, in my view, taking the fielder from the wrong position. No 3rd man now.
So the field remains 6-3. 3 men deep on the leg side. That's a deep fine leg, a deep square leg, and a deep long on. But we have got an extra man in the slip cordon. We've got a 1st and 2nd and 3rd slip as Punish Mehta comes in. And that's the first ball that Asmat's faced. And because there's no mid-on, he gets a single.
I need to ask you the question, Lenny. I've been around cricket a long, long time. Why do we need 3 out on the leg side and there's a bloke on naught?
It's a very good question. Could I be saying very kindly that maybe they're strategically wanting to get Bill Coughlin onto strike because they know they need to get him out?
Now you're clutching at straws, Lendog. You're clutching at straws. Get in.
Defensive captaincy in one way, but attacking in another with the men in the slips cordon. Just blocked back to the bowler Mehta. He's been really impressive, hasn't he? Not only today, but throughout the season.
Yeah, I've been impressed with him with his bowling.
We don't get many pros across from India, do we?
No.
So it's really,
Very,
really
very
nice to
few.
see, isn't it?
It would have been more commonplace north of the border.
Yep.
They would have had a lot more Asian overseas pros.
Rather than the traditional in Leinster, which would be very much South Africa, Australia, or New Zealand. But could be a trend that we'll see developing in future with the strength of Indian cricket, you know.
Well, Simi Singh has been badgering me for the last 2 years. He is a
short from Mehta this time.
He is a mate who
True
played
to
IPL, and would we get him to come over and play? But hasn't happened.
We'll have to keep our eye on who YMCA will sign in future years. No doubt. Obviously, had PJ Moore early in the summer, Zimbabwean Test player.
Well, you know the philosophy down in YMCA, Lendog. You know the philosophy is about that development, younger players, bringing them through.
Wonderful youth system in YMCA, bringing through lots of Irish youth internationals at the moment, and hopefully many of those going to graduate on to senior honours in the coming years. Mehta in to Coughlin, square driven. It's a nice shot from Bill Coughlin. He should come back for 2 here surely. Bill Coughlin calls him through. He wants to strike. That's well run.
That's good cricket from Bill Coughlin. Another interesting thing with Bill, he loves these occasions, quite rightly. Finals day is about performing. And over the years, Bill has done that. Great character in the game, Bill Coughlin. And always had oodles of talent himself, and Conor Kelly, probably
the same vintage, the same Leinster under-13 side back in 1997. Short from Mehta. That was quick. Well left. Very fine Leinster under-13 side that back in 1997. Kevin O'Brien featured in it. Simon Morrissey.
Andrew Leonard.
Yeah, well, he one of the weaker links in that side, of course.
Now, you can't be saying that, Leonard. I've never seen someone to duck up his leg spin as much as you.
Off air, Alan, of course, off air. And Mehta is really looking for wickets here. He's got 1 ball to go in this over.
I enjoy his aggression and his build up to the crease, Mehta. Just really gets stuck in on it. That delivery. Oh,
slower ball this time. Hits him right in front.
Huge
Huge appeal, Gavin!
Oh.
He's gone. Could that be the crucial wicket? We said he might want to bowl to Bill Coughlin. He's got the wicket. Big celebration. Merrion come into a huddle. Game on in Sydney Parade.
You're going to call that vintage Lendog, aren't you? Bring Bill Coughlin down the strikers end. Get rid of him. Slower ball. I've got the Midas touch. This is the Lendog Cricketing Badger of the Year, but he's gone. Billy Coughlin is gone.
He's gone, and we're just watching the replay here. It was an absolute beauty. It's done Bill Coughlin all ends up. Given straight away. No complaints from Bill Coughlin. He knows he was trapped right in front there.
Absolutely. And a good piece of bowling from Poonesh. And again, in fairness, Lenny, if the next 20 runs Merrion can squeeze definitely 2 wickets, if not 3. Who knows? There could be a fight on our hands.
Just going to look at that batting card now on screen with our Cricket Club's graphics. And as you can see there, that's the crucial wicket. Bill Coughlin gone for 24. And Waqar Azmat is in there, but he's only faced 1 delivery. He's gone for 1. The new man to the crease, I think it's Robert Forrest at the non-strikers end there. It is indeed. So it's Waqar Azmat and Robert Forrest. And as you can see, we'll have a quick look at the bowling figures as well. Poonesh Mehta, outstanding. 2 overs, 2 for 5. He's got 2 more overs to bowl, Alan. And those 2 overs, I think, are going to decide the cup final one way or another.
You're absolutely right, Len. And again, if wickets fall, and this is a good move. I think this is a good move, bringing Staunton back into the attack. And again, the other side of this thing, I think, Len, I'd much prefer to see Staunton bowling with 6 on the offside. 6 on the offside.
So Tom Stanton returns.
Stanton or Staunton?
I think it's Stanton.
Stanton, I'm very
It's
sorry.
Tom Stanton.
Very sorry. Robbie Staunton was who I played with, who's his father. So I don't know what you're talking about there. Stanton, I'll go with Stanton.
Tom Stanton's left arm orthodox spin returns from the Sandymount end. Left alone outside the off stump. It's amazing what pressure can do in a cup final, isn't it? The game just seems to have changed all of a sudden down here.
Well, another 2 wickets will make it change even more.
Oh, edged away. Could even a slip in. He maybe could have. And that's going to run nearly all the way to the boundary. Wonderful piece of fielding. Definitely saved 2.
Well, this is the point that I say to you, Lenny. You know, 45, deep square. Why does Tom Staunton need 4 on the leg side? I just don't get it.
Tom Stanton could have arguably had a slip in there.
Sorry.
He's in again. More flight this time. Hit down towards long on. Is that going to be a chance? No, it's going to go all the way. That's 6 runs.
That's a very good shot from Waqar.
Waqar Azmat took a chance. It went above the eye line. He hit down towards long on, and it just cleared the 6'2" Jack Hardy at long on.
Well, I think tactically, probably he's played the right card here. There's no point in fiddling around. There's no need for Clontarf to fiddle around. And he hit that very well. The
dark goes by here in Sydney Parade. You're watching the LHK Insurance Alan Murray Cup final. And we've got action aplenty. Sometimes a low-scoring match can end up to be a thriller. And let's just hope we're going to be treated to a thrilling finish here.
Well, obviously, you and me, Lenny, are neutrals. Yes, of course we want that. Clontarf supporters won't want that. They'll want to be walking away with this trophy as easy as they can.
And that 6 from Azmat's really just swung the momentum back towards Clontarf because they've so little to play with, Merrion. Every boundary's really hurting them. Could have so easily nestled in long on's hands, but it didn't. Fuller from Stanton this time, driven back by Robert Forrest. And even with this big crowd we've got building up, you can still loudly hear Robert Forrest calls over them.
Who's been the noisiest today, Bill Coughlin or Bobo Forrest?
I think Bobo's probably had him taken.
But it's come out with some extraordinary, like nearly to the point that his voice and the pitch of his voice was gone.
Well, look, Alan, on that ponderous question, we're going to have to leave you. I'd like to thank you for your commentary today. We've really enjoyed it. Hard luck to YMCA earlier. Wish you guys the best for the rest of the season. Thank you,
Thank you very much, Lenny.
And with that, at the end of the 10th over in this LHK Insurance Alan Murray Cup final, Clontarf Cricket Club are 62 for 3. They need 39 more runs to win from 10 overs. And I'm going to pass you over to the very capable hands of Peter Boyd, who's going to be joined by Andrew Balbirnie.
Thanks very much indeed, Lenny. We are settling in now for the final run here to what could turn out to be a tricky little chase here for Clontarf in the end. At one stage we weren't quite sure whether we'd be coming back on to join you here on commentary, but those 3 wickets now that Merrion have taken as Poonesh Mehta comes in to start the 11th over. Just one for the over there, signal from the square leg umpire. Andy, welcome back into the commentary box. did you think you were going to be coming back in? Do you think you'd be needed for another commentary stint here with us?
No, certainly didn't. And the way that Merrion have gone about this, and probably more importantly the way Clontarf have gone about it, has been quite strange. I thought Clontarf could have maybe got after them a bit more in that first 6. I'd still expect them to chase this. No real dramas, but cup final, good crowd in. Get a couple of quick wickets here and it could really open it up.
Yeah, there's a little shed of Merrion fans down away along the wall there, and they've got a little bit louder as this afternoon and this evening has gone along, as the wickets have fallen, and even chasing down that boundary, saving a couple of runs earlier. They were beginning to sense that there might be something special on. It still might take another couple of wickets to really turn it in their favour, but the doubt might creep in a little bit if they were to build for 1 or 2.
And Meta's figures, I mean, 2.1 overs, 2 for 5, 2.2, sorry, 2 for 5, and 2 slips in a gully in. Only 2 men on the leg side. It's an attacking field for Merrion, but it's a field they need. He's creating chances, getting nicks, getting LBs, and keeping Merrion in this hunt.
Slower ball there, flicked into the leg side there. As previously talked about, catching fielder on the leg side there would have been very interested in that, but safely away for a single. You of course yourself, Andy, with the Leinster Lightning defended 99 already this season in T20, so it can be done, but different type of pitch obviously, and different expectations of what this Clontarf team would do this evening. So
yeah, I think Robert Forrest is a very attacking player, and I doubt that he'll go into a shell. He kind of thrives in this sort of situation, so I wouldn't be surprised to see him get after the bowling here.
Squared up a little bit there, but there really are 2 ways about going about the chase. Really, when you're chasing such a low total, you can look and say that you can go nice and slow and not need to go after too much at 5 runs and over, or to go hard at it from the beginning, chase it down quickly. And I think in a group game, when you're looking at net run rates possibly coming into it, that's the way they would have gone about it. And I think if they had decided to go about it in that way, they probably would have been in a much more comfortable position. They seem to have been caught just in the fact of only needing 100 runs in a final and only thinking about that final place. As Punish Meta comes in once again, another slower ball out of the back of the hand. It really has been an impressive spell from their overseas professional.
I think Clontarf do have the time here that they can, potentially see off Meta. He's bowling so well and so attackingly with those 2 slips and gully in place that they could almost say, right, if we see this bowler off and get through his spell and attack the other guys, because they have enough overs that, I don't think overs are going to come into this at all. But if Merrion can get a couple more wickets from their overseas professional, then it's game on.
It definitely is, and there's not too many neutrals around, but those that are here this evening will be looking to see, can we have a tense and final few overs. Forrest takes the single off the final ball of the over. Make sure safely back into Patrick Tice. That brings us to the end of the 11th over, and it's 63 for 3. Correction, that will be 64 for 3 at the end of the 11th over. So, Andy, was it day off from the Wolves and then today? Everyone given the day to go about their business, or training this morning before you separated?
We were given batting slots this morning out in Oak Hill, so everyone knew when they were in and were able to get in and get a half an hour hit. And if anyone else wanted to get extra, Pete, Ed, and Scott Irvine were there slinging away. So I think everyone got in what they needed to do. It's important in these sort of series you don't overcook yourself and get yourself as right as you can for the games, because they come thick and fast.
That they certainly do. Swatted away from Boa Forrest. Jack Carty doing the field and tidying it up. Another single. Yeah, they certainly do. Back at it first thing tomorrow morning, back down in Oak Hill. I heard you describing it as the best of grounds and the worst of grounds earlier. It's a pretty venue, but you don't want the wind swirling around down there.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the more picturesque grounds. I was fortunate to be part of the opening down there in 2008 against the Lashings, I think it was. So yeah, it's a beautiful ground and very fortunate to play games there.
Well, we had Bobo Forrest getting excited behind the stumps. Another man who's not afraid to let us know how he's feeling is Patrick Tice behind the stumps, giving plenty of encouragement here to Tom Stanton, who's bowling very well as well for this Merrion side.
Just wonder, is Asmat thinking of his boundary option here to stand? And he's faced a couple of balls without any intent. Fielder's getting up a bit here. He might look to score a boundary or two.
Another dot ball there. And this is what we're talking about, that a lack of intent really that Clontarf have shown from the beginning. Just allows these dot balls to build and the pressure to build a little more. And yeah, another one. Just a couple of singles off the over. And it's 65 for 3.
Yeah, surface still looks pretty good here. There doesn't seem to be too much turn, and still a bit of pace in the wicket here, even on this last game of the day. Merrion obviously very disappointed with the way they batted, but the way they've bowled here in the first 10 overs, they've definitely kept themselves in the hunt. But they really need this last over from Mehta now. He's bowled beautifully all day, and if he can pick up the key wicket of Forrest, the Merrion lads will be right up and in this fight.
It's really looking like the key over now, the key battle at the moment between Mehta and Forrest. This could go a long way to deciding the destination of the LHK Insurance Alan Murray Cup final. In comes Mehta, just eased into the leg side. Bobo Forrest looking to put the pressure on the fielders. That's great running, getting the 2. Comes back for the second run there. Like taking his hands off the bat there, just kind of eased it off so that he took the pace off. Didn't hit it as hard as he could into the fielder, so he could come back for the second there.
Yeah, Tom Stanton bowls left-handed, throws right-handed, always can be a bit deceiving, but yeah, very well run. Just dropped into the circle there on the leg side, and a good way to start Mehta's final over.
It's guided away from Forrest. Beautiful shot down to the third man. 4 more. That'll ease a few nerves around the Clontarf.
Yeah, it's a risky run with 2 slips in a gully. Just used the pace, guided it through the gap and races away for 4. But you know, Merrion have to be attacking at this stage. He's bowled beautifully. He's getting the ball in the right areas. He's just strayed a bit with that one, a bit too much width, and Forrest does the rest.
He made sure with that one there that he kept it going down. Didn't really offer a chance. The only difficulty he would have was if one of the slip fielders was going to stop it. Didn't really offer a chance to him. Gets on top of that. Coming in from the boundary. No, it's going to drop short.
Good bouncer from Mehta. He's got his deep man out there in Stanton. That's what he wanted Forrest to do, and he obliged, but didn't get enough of it and just dropped short for a single. But another valuable single as Clontarf are on the hunt for this 100 runs they require to win the trophy for the 2nd time in a row.
Going for the bouncer again. I think this time, yeah, it's going to be wide. It's not the tallest batsman in the world, but I think that was a safe call. That was going to be called as a wide.
Yeah, and you know, it's Mehta's last over, and he's bowled a bouncer to Forrest there, a good bouncer, but I'd like to see him attack the stump. He's got 2 slips in a gully there for a reason. You know, the captain wants the nicks, and you know, he's not going to nick it from there, and you're just giving him an extra run. So I'd like to see him maybe give him a ball to drive.
Something like that. That's upish, but it's through the gap. Splits the 2 fielders, and that's going to run away on this fast outfield. And 4 more. It's an expensive end to this over, and we did say this will be the over to the side, and it could be doing that in Clontarf's favour.
Yeah, just a bit of width there, and like I said, I'm glad that he got him driving, but just a bit too much width on offer, and Asmat just throws his hands and hits the gap. There's plenty of gaps, obviously, because there's loads of catches in, but he did hit it well and hit it strong enough to reach the fence, and Clontarf move on to 77 and cruise control here at Sydney Parade.
Oh, nearly chopped on there. It's very close, that one there. Nearly to bring in the 4th wicket for Merrion. They really need to be taking every opportunity that comes their way, but when it's not your day, sometimes it's not your day.
Yeah, and I think Merrion just need to give themselves a chance. I think it was maybe 15 years ago I watched a game where Merrion needed, or I think they were playing Clontarf, and they needed 1 or 2 off the over to win the last over, and they managed to bowl a maiden, or it might have been Railway or whoever it was. So they know how to win, and they know how to, they got experienced players on their side, and if they keep in this hunt, you just never know in this game.
Well, we saw earlier in the semi-final the difficulties Clontarf had in getting over the line in what should have been a relatively simple chase, and they took their time in getting there, even though they won by 5 wickets in the end, but they took a long time to get there. But that is the end of Punish Meta. They've seen him off. He's taken the 2 wickets, but gone for 19 in the end. I think Clontarf will be happy to see the back of him now as well. He can't come back into the attack, and they're in a very comfortable position.
Yeah, no doubt that, when they had chatted in between innings, they would have said we need to combat probably a couple of their seamers in Tyrone Kane and Punish Meta, and they've managed to do that. They got after Tyrone a bit earlier and played him quite well, but they've played Punish particularly well in that final over, and that threat of Meta is now gone, and they're going to rely on players like Stanton and Carty to potentially come back and win them this game.
It is Tom Stanton back into the attack. I was talking to Kevin O'Brien about Tom Stanton earlier. He's spent a lot of time around the Lightning squad this season, and he's a good, promising young cricketer, and got his bow in the T20 festival here in the Interprovincial. That's pushed away. Will it be cut off? Dave Langford-Smith unable to cut that off on the boundary, and that's another 4 to the total there. So Clontarf are easing themselves towards this target of 101. Just 20 runs required now.
Yeah, just a bit of width on offer there for Asmat, and he's punished anything he's been given wide and throws his hands at that and races away for 4. This outfield has just been so quick all summer. We've seen it throughout the summer in the coverage. You get it past the infield and it really just races away.
Oh, lovely little bit of touch there, just past the wicketkeeper, just for a single, but lovely shot there. Robert Forrest happy to take that single, and that's all they really need to do from now on. They're quite happy every so often chip in with a boundary, but they can keep rotating the strike, and they're well in control of this match. That's another lovely shot from Asmat. Langford-Smith didn't even move that time. He couldn't have a chance of getting over to that, and it's another boundary. Clontarf well on their way here.
Yeah, just looking like a formality here. Merrion heads have dropped a bit in the field. Not as much noise that we'd seen in the last few overs, and any sort of width, any sort of bad ball given to these Clontarf batters, they're putting it away with ease. And only 13 required now for Clontarf, and this Alan Murray Cup is certainly looking like going back over the north side to Castle Avenue.
So Max Neville been throwing the ball here, just back from his injury, so getting a chance here to roll his arm over, but looks like a lost cause really for Merrion at this point, but he'll be looking to show what he can do. Oh, it's a lovely shot, flicked away. Dave Langford-Smith been worked over here. The ball is following around. He's working overtime down here on the boundary in front of the pavilion here in Pembroke.
Yeah, it's not a shot you see too often with fine leg back, but he's played it beautifully, but only picks up a single for it. Not a bad start from Neville in the block hole.
A couple of shots played there without making contact with the ball. A little bit of indecision on what he wanted to do there. It's a pity, obviously, for the neutrals that we have what is looking like a bit of a formality at the moment, but another great day for your club here in Pembroke, hosting the finals day in the 150th year. You must be a bit proud of what's been put on with the T20 Interprovincial Festival and today as well, Andy.
Yeah, I just think it's a brilliant concept. You just have to look around the ground and you see a lot of families and a lot of kids enjoying the day. Lots of barbecue action. There's the car park's full. A bit of an atmosphere with a few of the lads from both sets of clubs, and it's just a great initiative and a great idea to have this finals day and have it all in one venue on a day. The festival was great for the Interpro. The more that, the better. I think that's the way it needs to go.
Well, it's been a great day so far, but looking like Clontarf are going to make their way to consecutive LHK Insurance Alan Murray Cups victories here. Is there just 11 runs away now from victory? In comes Max Neville once again. That's an interesting sound off the bat there.
Yeah, it's an impressive Clontarf team. I think year in, year out, they're thereabouts in the league. They're in all the cup competitions deep into the season, and this is going to be the first title they win this year on potentially the road to 5 trophies. A lot of talk about Warringstown and how strong a team they are, and there's no doubt how strong a team they are. But I'd rank this Clontarf side up there with a lot of teams that have played down the years.
That's pulled away and fine, and Patrick Tice unable to catch it, and that's going to run away. No chance of chasing that down. John Anderson gave up on that, really. There was nothing he could do about it. That's another boundary. And really, it's just going through the motions here, unfortunately, for both sets of players.
Yeah, and Merrion will be, they'll be really annoyed with themselves. They won the toss here on a good pitch and just kind of threw wickets away. It wasn't as if Clontarf got them out, and there'll be a lot of regret in that batting line of people like Anderson and Joyce to both fall for a first ball golden duck is not ideal. But there was just the way they batted. There was a couple of run outs. They didn't give themselves a chance to put up a total. And in finals cricket, you need to give yourself a chance. And you win the toss and you bat, you need a competitive total. And you're always up against it, getting 100 on a ground like this with the outfield as quick it is and the wicket as good as it is. So they kept themselves in the game, but they were never really going to win the game with 100 on the board, and that's where they've lost this game, no doubt about it, the way they batted. It's a real shame for Merrion, but credit to Clontarf and the way they bowled and got themselves in the game after not a great first 6.
Exactly, and like you said, they're in line for going for 5 competitions. How many they might come out with at the end of the season is another matter, but they're in line for those competitions, and it's no fluke that they're in the final here and looking like getting that victory. And they'll be renewing rivalries with Warringstown in the All-Ireland T20 in a couple of weeks as well, if they, as we expect, get the next 7 runs that they need. So it's Sean Stanton this time coming in from the Sandymount end. As you say, just 7 runs required. And he's picked up a wicket first ball. Well, celebrations for Merrion, muted as they are, but it's a 4th wicket. And Clontarf now 94 for 4. They would have liked to have seen that home. And to bring the home, Asmat and Forrest would have liked to have brought them home together, but... Yeah,
and that's where Stanton roars at Dom. Why didn't you give me the ball earlier? I could have done this all day. Bit of nip away, a bit of bounce, but just a nice nick to Patrick Tice, who takes a clean catch. And Owen Delaney on his return from Australia. Nice game to come into, nice situation to come into. Only 7 required. Asmat's done his job. He's put the bad ball away, and he's brought his team on the brink of victory. And just going back to this Clontarf team, I think when you get yourselves into these sort of cup finals and you get over the line maybe once or twice, that sort of becomes a bit of an addiction, and you get used to winning in big games. And a lot of teams around the country maybe just don't get that and maybe struggle in the big finals or whatever it is. But this Clontarf team certainly know how to get it done in a final. And Owen Delaney, like I said, on his return from Australia yesterday, comes in and could potentially score the winning runs for his team.
Well, it'll be a fantastic story coming in and hitting the winning runs. Only 7 required, and I spoke to him earlier. He was reminding me about my visit to Clontarf when they won the cup in 2013. He's good friends with my brother, and he was asking after him earlier on. So I'm sure Kevin, my brother, is tuning in now to see how he goes. And it would indeed be fitting, after only coming back in late yesterday, if Owen was able to hit those winning runs. I don't think they write fairy tales anymore, but that would be a way to seal your homecoming. So here he goes, Sean Stanton to the new batsman, Owen Delaney, and he's carved that away through backward point, off the mark immediately with a boundary. What a lovely shot. 4 runs. Takes Clontarf within 1 shot of victory here this evening in the LHK Insurance Alan Murray Cup final.
Yeah, there's not a better delivery you want to get when you've got a bit of a jet-lagged head on you. A nice short wide one from Stanton, and Delaney just had to put a bat through it, and he does that with ease and carves a backward point region. But good way to start your innings, and only 3 to win here, and Delaney could finish it in the next couple of balls.
So here we go. Can he do it on this one? Oh, a good old-fashioned leave. Well bowled from Stanton there. Good comeback after the previous ball.
Leaving the ball. 3 to win. You've got 4 overs left. All the fielders are in, and you leave the ball.
Well, something tells me he's waiting for that one that he can put away and hit those winning runs. He might want to write that fairy tale for himself. There we go. On another leave. Must be playing a lot of multi-day cricket down in Australia. You know, see, in that mindset. Well, once again, it's another reminder of the reach of our live streams here, brought to you on Cricket Leinster TV. Owen Delaney was tweeting and sending messages about watching the T20 Interpro Festival at home in Australia, so it's been great that he's now here playing on this one. So just shows you how far and wide the reach is that we're bringing you through HBV Studios, and we hope everyone who's been watching at home has enjoyed what's been a great day's cricket here from Pembroke Cricket Club. And it's certainly been a pleasure for all of us to bring it to you. As Sean Stanton comes in once again. And 3 leaves in a row to finish the over. So there we have it. We're through 16 overs. Clontarf are 98 for 4. Just 3 runs required. And the small matter of 24 balls to do it. So I'll ask you a tough question, Andrew. Will they get there?
At 0.72 runs an over, it's pretty hard not to get over the line. I think there's only one way Bob O'Forrest is thinking of finishing this, and that's with a big bang, and he'll be eyeing up where his boundary option is, and he'll be hitting it as hard as he can. And
I don't think Bob O'Forrest does fairy tales. He won't be looking to get a single here now and pass the strike over to Owen Delaney. He'll be thinking of the big shot to finish at the fireworks as Max Neville comes in to start the 17th over. And there it is, straight down the ground. Clontarf are the champions of the LHK Insurance Alan Murray Cup. Beautiful straight 4 from Bob O'Forrest, clinches victory, and it's a 6-wicket victory for Clontarf over Merrion. A brilliant victory, and a deserved victory, Andy.
yeah, well deserved. After the first 6 overs of Merrion's batting, you thought they were going to post a competitive total, but I think Joe Morrissey's spell at the start of that first innings has changed this game, and you know, if there was a man in the match, he'd undoubtedly get it. He changed the game back into Clontarf's favour. He got the important wickets, and 100 on the board was never going to be threatening. Merrion kept themselves in it a bit through Meta's bowling, but Clontarf deserved winners. I think they've been the best team in this competition over the last couple of years, and back-to-back winners of this trophy, very well deserved.
So it is indeed back-to-back victories in the Alan Murray Cup for Clontarf. They'll go on to represent Leinster in the All-Ireland T20 competition. It's a fantastic victory. Bob O'Forrest sealing the victory with that lovely straight drive for 4. He ends on 20 not out. Owen Delaney 4 not out as Clontarf chase it down in 16.1 deliveries and win by 6 wickets over Merrion side, who were unfortunately disappointing in their innings to only set 100 runs and only set a chase target of 101. So there we have it. That concludes our coverage from Pembroke Cricket Club on today's LHK Insurance Alan Murray Cup Finals Day on Cricket Leinster TV, brought to you by HBV Studios. I've been Peter Boyd, and thanks to my co-host Lenny, Andrew Leonard, and all our contributors throughout the day. Clontarf are the champions. They'll celebrate and pick up their trophy. It's bye for now, and go well.